If you've ever been ready for an adult beverage because of the market, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, you're in luck because it's Friday and we are almost at Mice Down Drinks Up time. We got one more day to extract some money from this market, and we are off.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks, happy Friday. Hello and welcome. It is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Are you ready? Are you ready to make some money here today? That's exactly what we're going to do. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Let's bring on 13. 13, how are you doing here today?
I'm doing fine. Just kind of watching Sing from yesterday, CING, just blast off right as the show starts. So we really don't have a lot of opportunity to talk about that before it's moving. Maybe it gives us another setup. We'll see. How's everybody doing?
All right. We're doing really, really well. All right, Johnny, don't worry, man. We can help you. We can help you. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord has split you. Good morning to everybody else. We've got some more stuff here to do. 13, I like that you brought a drinking shirt to the program here on a Friday. That to me, that is so crispy. That is so crispy. Let's go ahead and get it. Let's talk about the SPY first here. We are leaking a little bit here. Got some data here on housing starts, and the market is coming back in. Do we find some support at that trend line? Do we find some support at the 50-day moving average? That's kind of what we're going to see here. I know we've been trying to trade this market short just a little bit, maybe a little bit early to that. We'll see if this is the start of a sell-off. But the levels that I got here are going to be this trend line here about 546 and also that 50-day moving average there at 544. We'll see if we test any of those to the downside. Upside level here is going to be the top of this candle, still that 555 mark. We actually didn't take that out yesterday or in either of the extended sessions. So if we reverse and trade up here, we'll see if 555 is on deck. 13, what do you have levels-wise?
Not very many. Let me just get back to my SPY chart because I was looking at Sing. But yeah, that's a trend line that you were talking about. That's one that we closed over yesterday. Now we're going to open beneath it, it appears. 555 still a level that I think we could see some stiff resistance at. That is also the same level where on our, August 1st, we traded up to it and then reversed and spent the rest of the day just going straight down. So that not going to guarantee that that's what we're going to get here today, but it's certainly possible if we trade up to that level again. Not fighting this tape, just kind of going to go with the flow, but still anticipating there to be downside at some point.
Okay. Really, really good stuff. Let's go take a look at the movers because you guys are already singing about them this morning here as we have a pretty big one on deck. We are going to start with the big one. That's going to be Sing. This is one from yesterday, by the way, CING, ticker CING. No new news here as far as I saw this morning. Yep, no new news here for this session. So this looks like a momentum continuation from yesterday. This was likely on a bunch of relative volume scans from yesterday, and we're able to pop that up. Now, it did look like we just traded above 10 and we pulled back. But if you take a look here in the pre-market, just a series of higher lows on this. This should set up quite nicely for a potential trade here today. So 13, what is your plan? What are you going to sing here today?
Buy, maybe. No, because I'm not really sure I want to touch this because they still need cash. They need to do that cash raise. Their balance sheet doesn't look great. They're losing money. This is a relative volume Momo move that we're seeing today. I think you're right about that. Still has very low float, 764K, so no change there from yesterday. They also did a 1 for 12 reverse split on August 9th. 13% of the float is shorted. Days to cover is small because they just did that reverse split, so not really a big deal there. Just think the big issue with this one is they need to raise cash, so you don't want to be in this when they make that announcement because it will drop the stock hard. So just be careful if you're going to trade this one. That's CING.
Trading vehicle only has been one of the themes. It looks like we found another one. Kurt, Welcome, my man, Kurt M. Thanks for joining us here. Let us know if there's a stock chart that you want broken down for us. Welcome to the community. You found yourself the right spot. All right, let's keep moving on here. Next is going to be G-Tech. We do have a couple of movers worth talking about here. G-Tech is another one here. This is Greenland Technologies. Greenland Technology shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q2 EPS results. Looks like a reported yesterday after hours here. Stocks up about 24.7% here today. Looking pretty good. What do you have here on G-Tech? You broke this one down. How's their cash looking?
Cash is looking okay. They don't seem like they need to do any kind of raise right now. They have almost 16 million in the bank. They were, losing some money in the past couple of quarters, but this most recent one that they just had, not the one they reported on, but prior to that, they started going positive again. So they have revenue. I don't think they're going to need to raise cash. Even if they do turn a little bit positive, they have enough of a runway to get them through it before they would need to do some kind of offering. I think this company is going to be okay. It's interesting too, because it seems that they have a presence in domestically and in international markets, and they do, transmission and drivetrain systems for forklifts and things like that. Mm-hmm. So kind of a thing behind a thing. Our economy is going to keep moving along, and so is the rest of the world. And we're going to need forklifts. We're going to need things to move products from one place to another. So interesting play. I think this is going to be good for a trade. I just don't know how much movement we're going to get behind it. It's a little bit larger than what we've been seeing lately. The float is 7.18 million shares. So still small, but not like a million or less small that we've been seeing lately. So I think we could get some good movement out of this one still. I think it's a better company than XIII at this point. So that's just my take on it. I think it's worth a trade if there's anything that sets up.
All right. Sounds good. Webcoin, good morning. Good to hear you. Webcoin offering. G-Tech revenues are flat. Yeah. They only reduced expenses. That should actually be pretty good for the cash runway, though. So we'll see if that's enough here. Levels wise, $2, the downside level that so far it's holding that we want to be aware of. 227 is going to be your VWAP. So maybe we actually get a pop and a potential scalp trade up to that level. If we do get up to that level, are we able to take it out on volume? Are we able to build above and move? We shall see. G-Tech on the list here today. Okay, now this has been kind of dancing around with the next one here, which is going to be RILY. This is B. Riley Financial. This thing has been going through all types of volatility. If we take a look at the daily chart here, you can see chart trend not great. Stock does love to kind of run up, but really kind of turning over here. Now, what's going on today? B. Riley Financial shares trading higher after the company in a 13D filing disclosed that Bryant R. Riley wrote a letter to the board of directors with a proposal to acquire all shares of common stock that he does not own for a price of $7 per share. That is accounting for the pop here today. Looks like Bryant Riley's trying to do something to either gain more control or perhaps even take this private. We'll see if that's what they're trying to do. $7 was the spot here. We did have a pretty big pop. We're hanging out right around 650. The intraday pre-market chart here actually looks pretty good to me, to my eye here. Sure looks like this wants to try and pop some of the top there. The big thing here, as you were pointing out early 13, and I'm going to turn this over to you here. Unreal short interest. 60% of the float shorted, 11.24 days to cover. 13. What do you make of ticker RILY?
It's a short squeeze candidate, and I don't think it's anything else.
Okay. So short squeeze candidate, trading vehicle.
Yep.
You going to look at this one here today?
Am I going to look at it?
I mean, look at trading it. I'm sorry. That wasn't clear. That was my fault.
No, against my better judgment, I don't think I want to really touch this one. It might provide a setup, but I think it's just one of those high risk, high reward plays. If you want to get on the side of the short squeeze, I think that's up to you. I don't know that I'll be touching this one. I think there's other more reliable plays to go after.
Okay.
In terms of upside, like let's say this, because it's at 642 right now, so at least you have a little bit of room to 7. But that's just not interesting to me. It might be interesting to some other people, and that's fine. Go for it and trade it if that's what you're into. But that consolidation right there begins at 680, yeah, and goes to 7. So you're looking at a consolidation area where it could get rejected, and it's right where Bryant Riley wants to pick up the shares anyway. I really don't. I really have too many questions about this. So this is probably not going to be something I trade, but at least it sets up for short squeeze if you're interested in that kind of thing.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Smoke Tuna, I saw that you were asking about this one. Did Smoke Tuna come over here? I don't know. Yes, he did. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You were asking about this in pre-market prep, assuming that you got filled in on the details by now, but would be curious to know if you have a trading plan for this, especially what you think of this formation here in the pre-market. So just curious, let me know.
Jonathan, or not Jonathan Cooper. Jonathan Cooper. He said he has a big cap to 16 area. You know, I mentioned something that to Ryan about how there's a gap to fill. So if it does squeeze, that could be a good spot that it would run to. I don't want to say that that's going to happen. I don't want to say it's not going to happen. It's just, like I said, too many question marks. But I don't want to discount what you just said, because going to 16, if it does squeeze, I think you're right about that, because there is that gap to fill to the upside.
Here it is. All you really need there is a 15-minute chart, and you can see this clear as day. Jonathan, good call there. We'll see if we break above that 750 and really kind of full send it to fill that gap. We shall see. Okay. Yes. Here, do you guys want me to just go to LHRC? Is that the one that you got? It was on this list here. What is the ticker? It was on this list earlier. I don't see it anymore. Must have kind of turned around here. God, what is the ticker? Help me out, folks. Help me out. You guys wanted to take a look at this earlier. Where is it?
LRHC.
LRHC. Oh my God.
La Rosa.
Oh my God. Here you go. So you guys were asking about this one. Let's just take a look at it because it wasn't on the list here, but we might as well go over it. La Rosa Holdings shares trading higher after the company reported a 154% year-over-year increase in revenue to $19.1 million for Q2 of 2024. The company also stated that it successfully acquired 11 brokerages since its IPO in October of 2023. That cause, this was an exclusive by our news desk team. This actually popped up towards 195. This has really kind of come all the way back down here, including breaking the VWAP. Looks like we had one bounce where we tried to go back to and through the VWAP. Simply not strong enough to do that. Volume compressing here. Really want to see if this kind of expands when the market opens. I would curious to know what kind of levels you folks have for this one. This might be one of those that kind of bottoms out first and then gives us a move. We'll see if that's what goes into play here. You got anything on this 113?
What do you think I'm going to say?
It needs money.
It needs money.
Yeah, I mean, that to me.
Balance sheet says it has a little more than $1 million in cash. Their income statement says that they do have revenue, but they're still losing about $4 million to $5 million. Quarter. They lost 7.5 at the end of the last quarter of the previous year. So still not really able to be profitable, and they don't have a large cash runway. So there could be an offering here with this one at some point. The float is 9.4 million shares. So not a very large float. They can add to that and still be able to push it around. But I think that at some point, especially if it dips back underneath the dollar, they're probably going to also have to do a reverse split. So.
Okay, so not a great situation here for LRHC. It looks like we'll see if we end up getting anything here. Looking at the daily chart, where we did kind of come off a support level here at 104. See if we go back down there. This is actually a resistance area. We'll see here. LRHC, good catch there though. Glad you guys were at least mentioning it in the chat here because it did fall off the scanner. See if it comes back here. Next, real quick, QNTM. This is Quantum Biopharm. I got to be honest, I do like the name of this company, but I really don't know much about it here. QNTM, this did pop as high as 750. It's come all the way back down to 5. It's done a pretty good job holding this $5 area. We do have VWAP at 585, so any type of move back towards that area might be a decent scalp if it's able to do that. If we take a look at the news here, there's not a whole lot, but 13, you figured out why. What's going on here, dude?
So this is a company that used to go under a different ticker. On August 15th, there's an explanatory note here from the the Form 6 filing yesterday. It says that Quantum Biopharma, formerly known as FSD Pharma, which the ticker was HUGE, they issued a press release titled "FSD Pharma completes name change to Quantum Biopharma and 65 to 1 consolidation, trading under news ticket symbol QNTM."
Okay, so this is a former ticker with a new one sitting down here at 5. Volume's kind of collapsed. To me, the volume is going to tell the story here. Can we get this volume to expand? Can we really get a move off this low? We'll see here. QNTM.
And If it does, it'll probably use that to raise cash.
Probably. Webcoin all over it. QNTM was huge. Yep. So here you go. Okay, really good stuff. I tell you what, chatters came in popping today. You guys are hot and ready to go, and I absolutely am here for it. So let's keep rolling. Next is going to be Rocket Lab. Shaka, you got it. You knew this was coming, Shaka. You were setting it up. You were mentioning it. You knew it was coming. It is here. Rocket Lab USA trading higher here. Looks like it popped above 640 earlier today, and it's trying to take out that high. It's actually done a pretty good job moving away from the VWAP on this most recent move, and we're starting to get some volume, so it'll be curious to see if this actually holds into the open here. To take a look at the news, Rocket Lab ships twin satellites to launch site for NASA's Mars mission. So you're getting a PR here this morning. 13, I'm not even going to try. You are the space expert. You are on top of all of these different rockets and space exploration things. What's going on here with RKLB?
Oh, you read it. They sent satellites to be sent into space. We may have been. You may remember this other space, play that is sending satellites up into orbit next month. We were talking about it yesterday. ASTS. Apparently, that seems to be a bit of a theme right now with getting things ready to launch up into space. Space is the next frontier. Let me tell you, folks. But with this one in particular, Rocket Lab, this one has a pretty good amount of its float shorted, almost 15%, with 9.86 days to cover. So we are seeing a little bit of a squeeze here in addition to the news. As far as the financials go, they got plenty of cash on hand. They do operate at a loss, it appears, but they are still pulling in revenue. I think their last quarter, they had one of the best revenue quarters in a while. Still losing about 40 to 50 million, though, so don't know how long this will last, but it seems like that the satellite launch could give it a good infusion of cash unless they've already collected it all.
Okay. There you go on RKLB.
You know, as far as a play goes here, it looks like it's trying to get above its pre-market high of
yes, sure does
45. So we get a breakout there, we could start seeing. I don't have levels for this one yet, but because we just started talking about it. But this looks like it could try to push past 465 and go higher. Don't really exactly have a target, but that's what it looks like.
I got 661, 730, and 8 as your levels in there. So we'll see if we end up taking those out here on Rocket Lab. There you go.
Good.
All right. Lynn, as far as I'm aware, the scanner is working here this morning. Looks maybe not. Let me check it out. I've been busy on air here, so I don't know. Let me go take a look here as soon as I turn this over to 13 next time. Let me go back to the movers tool really fast. Thanks for calling that out, by the way, Lynn and Randy. One more thing that I wanted to mention here, big shout out to Crow mentioning that Baba is making moves here. Crow, I believe that one of the things you've been on the last couple days is China names. I think you had said something about Michael Burry being long some of these China names. It's also worth mentioning that JD is higher here. Baba's also here. I didn't see Baidu earlier. I guess I'll just check it manually and see where that's at. Baidu's a little bit lower, but JD and Baba higher here. How about PDD? That would be the other one that I want to check real quick. PDD up by about 0.5% here in the pre-market. PDD, if I wonder if that can get above yesterday's intraday high, it might actually pop and move a little bit more. But nonetheless, wanted to shout you out for this here, Crow. I know that you've been on this, so let me know if there's anything else in here that we need to know about that.
Real quick with the yin and the yang, the China ETFs. We had a post yesterday from one of our own Jeff D's that was giving us some charts on the 4 hours. Yeah, and he was showing us how the yang is showing a head and shoulders, and the yin is showing the inverse head and shoulders. So it really does seem like there is something happening here that's going to take the yin to the upside and the yang to the downside. I guess the technicals are showing that anyway. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yin here, just looking at the daily, it looks like we're about to test and try and close above that 200. We shall see. Also, we were just talking about Rocket Lab. Chris Forsman, good morning. Good to see you again. Mentioning Rocket, saying, boy, I wish I was long from 10. 13, this is really good timing here. I know that Rocket and UWMC have been two of the stocks that you watch consistently. You got anything here for Chris?
Well, It's pretty obvious they've already had their really big moves. I hold United Wholesale in my long-term account. This has been a great dividend play. They've been consistently paying 10 cents a share since they became a real company after merging with a SPAC back in I think it was 2001. As far as upside levels go for United Wholesale, I mean, I really don't know how much higher this is going to go, but it could keep going, especially if we're going to see rates come down, which will help more people be able to afford mortgages for homes. So that's kind of the going theory right now. As far as upside targets, we could say round numbers are probably going to be the best way to go with. 10 certainly looks like another one. After that, 11. You might get some chopping around between those two before it hits 11. I really don't have any idea how high this or even rocket goes, but I think the theme is on rate cuts is really, really strong for these companies because it helps bring more business in. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that I'm not. There's a lot of question marks around how this fallout, this settlement from the National Association of Realtors settlement is going to pan out. I believe. Can you help me with this? With that date, Ryan? I think it's the 17th or 18th.
It's coming up here. I don't know that. I don't know that date. Gosh, I'm sorry. I don't know off the top of my head. Let me look it up here real quick.
I got it. It's August 17th.
17th?
Like. Yeah. So that's when
effective August 17th. There you go.
That's gonna be the point where there's gonna be a lot of question marks about how people are gonna be able to sell their homes or even buy their homes. Are they going to do it themselves, or is there gonna be services that are kind of like realtor a la carte where they have to pick and choose and individually pay for separate services? A lot of question marks around there. I don't know that I'd want to hold everything to that position. I've already sold everything that I had for United Wholesale and Rocket in my trading account, but I'm going to hold United Wholesale for longer because I still think over the long term the home buying is going to increase, and that'd be good for both companies.
Yep, there you go. Felicia, our real estate expert in the chat here, confirming that we are not making mistakes, and if we do, we will correct them right away. So there you go, Chris. I too wish that I was long this from Jason's 10 spot. Would be pretty good here, almost a double off that. This thing is actually printing in the 8s at one point at the end of last year. So good stuff there. Good mention. All right. We got 5 minutes here. Is there anything else that you folks want to take a look at? Another shout out to Felicia, by the way. I mentioned this yesterday on the show, but Bros triggered a long here yesterday. So we are long Bros on the 200-day reclaim. Got a gap up to about 35 here, which is kind of what we're looking to take advantage of, plus the broadening wedge. So we'll see here on Bros. We're long that into today. Really good stuff. Jay Harris. Asking Ryan, you got any plays for Tesla? Well, I generally wait for Tesla to tell me what's going on before we come up with any plays here. It does look like it kind of ran up to that 50-day moving average and kind of stopped there. Now, if we zoom into today's pre-market session, you can see it's showing a little bit of weakness, but I suspect that this is trading with the market here. So what I would say for Tesla is let's see if we can time this. If the market decides that it's going to kind of come in a little bit, probably have let's actually go to that 15-minute, try and find a level here. I wouldn't be shocked if this tests a 207 area. This would be a consolidation area back from Tuesday. Maybe it bounces off that pre-market high, but I'd be more looking for that 207 consolidation area. We'll see here. I bet Lynn and Randy are going to be on this one as well, so I'm sure we're going to have more Tesla levels for you as we continue to move higher.
For me, I've had this trend line have drawn here. If you want to draw it yourself, it starts on July 19th, 2023. You draw it through the peak of December 28th, 2023, and just keep drawing it, and you'll see that we're about to test it again. So
that would be this one or this one?
Yeah. No. You want to draw it through the high of December 28th, 2023.
Yep, that would be right here. Boom, boom, boom. So we'll see if that trend line falls. Good stuff there, 13. Jay Harris, let me know if there you go. He says thanks. He's ready to go. Lynn, Tesla, we are laying low, looking for major buyers and sellers. Okay, so looks like you're looking for some volume flow into that. Okay, what else do you folks want to take a look at? You guys are still trading Sing. Should we take a look at that real fast? What's Sing doing here right ahead of the open? Look at that. Looks like it's trading up. So you can see we continue to make these higher highs and lower lows. I would imagine that play is on until it doesn't work anymore. So we'll see here on Sing. I want to watch the opening print, not in this here in the pre-market. Let's see what happens right out of the open. Travis, good to see you this morning. Crowd, you want to take a look at Crowd? Let's do it, my man. Here is CrowdStrike. What a bounce off the 500-day. I call this the Joe moving average, but what a bounce off that 500-day moving average here. The one thing that I'll say here on Crowd, it kind of feels like we're in some no man's land for right now, right? Like we're in the middle here on RSI. We're really between some of these moving average levels. I guess this was a former support level and resistance level going back to December of 2023. So maybe we break through that here. I don't know here. The bounce here has been pretty awesome. And if you're in this, I would have definitely paid yourself on the way up here. We got 35 points until we recapture that 200-day, and I would think at some point this stock's going to need a break. So just to me here on CrowdStrike, I'm not sure there's a trade here yet. What about you, 13? What do you think?
Well, if I do think that it's trying to get back up to its 200-day estimate. It does look like it's heading that direction. So let's think about the stops along the way. The first two resistance areas that I see are going to be 273 and 280. Okay. So I'd expect there to, as we continue to trade up, we're going to probably see some resistance, maybe a short-term reversal at those two locations, maybe even consolidation between the two on its way up. I'm not going to guarantee that it's going to go up to the 200-day SMA, hit 300 or anything like that. But if we are seeing more upside, those would be the first two levels I'd be concerned about there being resistance.
Okay.
Yes, and the death cross is coming, so that's something to be careful about.
Okay, so we're about to cross the 50 through the 100. There's a little bit more room for that 200-day, but to your point, it is pitched in that direction. So with you on that one here. Love this, Jay saying Pan W reports Monday, FYI, so you might have a little sympathy in there. Okay, we are open. We are open. Yeah, I don't, interesting, Lynn and Randy, I'm not sure what's going on here. It's got to be something with one of the filters. God, I can't do diagnosis live here, though. I really can't do it. I'm sorry. We're going to flip over to trade the pool. Sorry, let me get the read in here. If you need help getting above the 25K day trading threshold or simply need some more dry powder, check out Trade the Pool. They can really kind of help you out. Let's go. Let's go get it. What do you think here on Sing?
Sorry, I'm just throwing some tickers in so I have them up here. QNTM trying to push up. Not really getting enough volume, it seems. Riley, that one's beneath VWAP. This one might need to shake out a little bit and find some support before that one turns around. G-Tech, that one's trying to push up to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, which I have at 217. It may get that. It's working its way through this pre-market consolidation right now. And then, what was the other one? Sing. Bring that up here. I just had it, but I don't. So pushed up to almost 11, came back down, tested VWAP, and now we're
look
back
at that
here.
pull.
Yeah. I gotta be. I just, I'm a little nervous about when they're going to raise cash, especially when they keep trying to push it up. Second day in a row. And they're past all my levels now, saying, I'd have to put some more in. So give me a second here, and I'll see what else I can find here.
Okie dokie. Nike popping here out of the gate, 83 handle. Aram is asking a short Sing. Hey, man, that's going to be up to you. I'm not going to. But if we break this VWAP, maybe you do get one of those down moves there. Maybe. How's GovX doing?
Okay.
GovX popping out of the open here. JK, want to take a look at Clove. Thanks for not spamming. You're a gem. Clove here also kind of trading up out of the gate. Unable to get above yesterday's intraday high, I think, right? Did we have that here at 272? Oh, no, it did. I beg your pardon. It did by a cent. So here you go on Clove. Took out yesterday's intraday high. The notable thing for Clove yesterday is while we sold off after the prior day's big move, buyers stepped right back in and took it higher here. And that was on a director, I think, share purchase there. So see if we get some more upside here on Clove. 274, the spot that it's at right now, just a tiny bit of size there. And they're actually chipping away at it. So that could easily come back in here.
So for Sing, if we break down, 880 is going to be the support level from this point, and the resistance level I have is going to be 1150. So there's your resistance and support in both directions. It actually did get some pretty good support from VWAP out of the gate. So there's another level that will give you some help there as well. But kind of just hanging around sideways right now. So we'll have to see which direction it chooses, and then we can start trading it more reliably, I would say.
GTech here, good call. GTech back to VWAP here. Let's see if it can actually break VWAP and move above it. Jay, we ran out of time. I wanted to cover your EBS here in the pre-market. I did see we've traded this one before. Emergent Biosciences is having a nice little pre-market move and actually trading up here out of the gate. Jay, I'd like to know what kind of levels you have. This is not one that I have been watching. I'm assuming you have, based on what you're saying in there. Don't have any new. Let's see. Benchmark keeps their buy rating on EBS. That's new from here from this morning. So maintaining their buy, that's not a raise or anything, but maintaining their buy. Does this have a monkeypox angle? I wonder. Let me see. Let me look at the original buy.
Oh yeah, and Jay Wild mentioning Siga. Yes, in Purgatory Park, I was just looking at ASTS. That's making another move. Don't know how high this goes, but man, this thing has been a ripper, and it probably could continue to be a ripper until they launch. Okay,
so Jay confirming this is a monkeypox play for you. Awesome. Let me know. Let me know what you're doing on that. And then when it comes to SIGA, that's SIGA here. I actually had a little bit of a bounce after that bad data here. We've almost reclaimed all of that. So if we back out here, look at that. Look at that. $12 is where it fell from. Let's see if we can get all the way back there. SIGA trading up here right out of the gate.
I don't think I've seen green candles look like, in this formation in either quite some time or ever, where it's just like a big green one up, a big green one that's beneath it, and then this thing's gapping all around. It's wild, but it still trades up after it gaps, and it doesn't matter which direction, it just trades up.
Yeah, really good stuff here, folks. Good start to the morning.
Yeah. Anyway, Palantir getting mentioned. Oh yeah, the Z car. I saw the Z car was moving this morning, but yeah, it's penny stock. It was like up 51%, which was like a 6-cent move.
Baba, those China plays continuing here out of the gate. Crow's got to be doing the money dance, I'd imagine. There's money flying all over the place. PDD through yesterday's intraday high that we talked about. A good mention here from our Twitter viewers. Pablo, you guys are absolutely killing it. GovX here up to yesterday's after hours high. I'm pulling back. Sorry, 13, get in there.
Riley is now pushing up through the pre-market high of 675. Might be squeezing here. GTech also pushing up higher. That has a pre-market high of 260, so it's got some room to move up first before we start breaking that. Had an after hours high of 275. There could be a lot of room for GTech to go here.
We are above that VWAP there. Let's see if 220 gets taken out here.
And NYCB, that continues to push up. I know it's not when we were covering, but it is a Tim Melvin stock, and that has been having a pretty good week.
There were a number of people that were actually talking and trading about NYCB from our chat here. I think Stay Focused was on that one as well. Chris here taking a Pan W 335 put. All right. So are you in today's put, hoping for a dip into earnings, seeing as how this thing went straight from 345 to 300? So are you holding that through earnings? You think this is going to move down after earnings? Let us know, Chris. Nice there on the Pan W short. Here we go. 220 coming up here on GTech. Let's see if it breaks this. I want to buy it, but I don't want to buy strength.
ASTS is just, it's just continuing the blue sky. Just absolutely insane.
The biggest miss of the year here on ASTS for me. We discussed this yesterday, man.
Oh, for you? Okay. Yeah. I get
without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean,
this was AVAV.
Yeah, I mean, this was just crazy. We talked about this a lot. We had the whole space theme going. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in here. I definitely this is one I look back on and I think, boy, where did it go wrong? You've got to get better than this. Saiga 1153. Wow, big pop out of the gate here. Big recovery on that. Yeah, I know. Jay, what do you want me to say, Jay? What do you want me to say? I'm trying to do a mea culpa here. What do you want me to say? I should have traded that. It was the biggest miss of 2024. I'll say it again.
Yeah, Siga going up to, it's headed towards 12. Coming up to some
It's going to fill that.
now.
Yeah, it's going to fill that for sure.
Yeah, see, well, here's the thing, Shaka. I don't think it matters what happens to the rocket. They could successfully deploy the satellites. No matter what happens, it's going to be a sell-off. It's a sell the news event, in my opinion. I think as soon as that, no matter what happens with that rocket, it could be a completely successful mission. It could explode on the launch pad. No matter what, I think there's going to be a sell-off the day that it launches.
There you go. Giving it to you. Tesla here, by the way, we're asking for those Tesla levels here. Buyers immediately stepping in here. Nothing but green candles. Big move here off the 211 lows. 215 and change printing here. Let's see if we can get higher.
Yeah, and if it's going to hit that trend line that we drew, it's going to be at about 217.5. It looks like. So watch for some resistance around 217. Now, I'm not saying it's going to reverse and go down, but it might just take a brief break there. Riley, Riley, R-I-L-Y. That popped to 680 and came back in. So I think I was right about where that consolidation was. Let me double check that.
I'll bring it up here on screen.
Oops. There's no you in that.
Elon, it's got to be you. There's definitely sound. People have been interacting with what we've been saying, so it's got to be on your end. Oh, and you can't hear me. If there's no sound, you can't. Come on. For heaven's sakes, bro. Like, get it together. Get it together. It's Friday. Get it together.
GovX ready to run?
We'll see.
Well, yesterday's high is coming up here. So what was that, about 425? Let me pull it up here in my broker. So I got to 404 this morning. Yeah, I have 423 as an upside target here, and that was the high from pre-market yesterday. So 423, that would be my target for GovX. We get through that, then let's see.
Yes, NL, big move out of the gate here. Not on this.
I don't have a level above 425, but that would be the level of breakover, and then do your thing.
Tesla continuing to go here. Also seeing on the unusual option scanner more call flow coming across here for Tesla. All of them calls, by the way. So some strong call buying here in Tesla. Yeah, this looking like 217 coming here quick.
GovX, there it goes. 415 now.
There you go.
Pushing up to 423. That would probably be where we're going to see some resistance or just blast through it.
And what's interesting here, Saiga pulling at the same from highs. It had moved, but it was pulling off those highs. I don't want to make too early of a speculation here, but it almost feels like maybe rotation from one monkeypox play to another. Crow saying adding NVDQ 2x short. So looking to short NVIDIA here on the pop back on the market. So if we take a look here really quickly at the Qs, you can see we were leaking in the morning. We are popping here out of the gate. If we move over to the individual name here, NVIDIA almost completely closing that gap. We'll see if this rolls around here, Crow. Keep us posted on that. G-Tech trying to go.
Yep.
There is. Pulled back beneath that VWAP and trying to move here.
All right. So I was just trying that one as well, but GovX, I'm looking to see if that is going to. It went right to 423 and came in. Great. Now it's going to try and push higher.
Look at ASTS continuing to rip. Which one? GovX?
Yeah. It's really knocking on the door of that 423. It wants to go higher. Let me just get some levels for you above 423, folks.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to buy weakness here instead of chasing this. How's RKLB doing? That was another one of those names that we had.
I'm not talking to get people in it. I'm talking to let people know
Get people out of it. Ring that
make sure they
register.
take their
Let's
profit.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
455 and 490 are going to be the next upside targets here if we get through 423 on GovX.
Rocket Lab continuing to trade up here.
I wonder if ASTS is moving because Rocket Lab is moving. They're kind of on the same theme, around, setting satellites up into space. ASTS just delivered the satellites that they're going to be launching in early September. They just delivered those. I think it was either earlier this week or it was at the end of last week. So, satellites getting launched, public companies that are launching satellites, that seems to be a little bit of a play right now. IWM green, ooh baby.
Yes, sir.
That means that SMCI might be doing good, right?
Let's bring it up here. I'm still looking for entry on something here. We had a lot of moves right out of the gate.
Sing still only got to 11. Bit of a neutral candle at the moment. Let's see what happens. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at an hour chart.
It's building above its VWAP, though, on Sing. That actually doesn't look bad. Riley here, 666, although it looks like it's trying to go above 680, which is going to be your intraday high. There was a little bit of size there, too.
Yeah, and when you look to the left, you can see that 680 is like right at the start of this consolidation that they put in like yesterday. So if you go to like a smaller time frame and look to the left, you can see that 680 to about 715. There's a pretty good amount of consolidation. I mean, you could say as high as 745, but the point is that there's a lot of sideways consolidation all day yesterday that this B. Riley price is going to have to chew through.
Yeah, we talked about that $7 price multiple times,
right.
Jay.
And yeah, exactly. And it's a $7
right out of the gate.
The only thing is that, people might see this short interest and go, oh, hey, this is a huge squeeze happening, and jump into it that way. Yep. Archer Aviation, that's ripping too. I think I mentioned yesterday in Happy Hour chat that this looked like the bottoming had finished in that head and shoulders. Yeah, so there was a head and shoulders pattern on the daily chart for Archer Aviation that looked like it had just finished resolving or was getting close to resolving.
Looks like this right here, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and now the down move has finished. So really kind of looking for a move here through 4 to my eye.
Yeah, and I was looking for a little bit more consolidation first, so that we, because there was always this possibility that this could go all the way back down to 3. Mm-hmm. So I gave that caveat that it might be, still continuing to resolve down that low. But if it's turning around now after several days of consolidation, well, that's fine as well. It's going to have to start fighting those moving averages that are up there, and that's going to be the 20, 50, and 500-day SMAs, all right in the same area that it's got to get through now. Okay. Joby's moving with it, yeah. But, I really do. Oh, it's on your short list, John. I mean, I think the short. You think it's worth a short even more than it was already? Because I think this was a move like 37% down from the high. Or are you looking to short with 60? Oh, so you're talking about it being a short squeeze. I'm sorry. I guess I'm not exactly sure what you're getting at here. But if you're saying it's a short squeeze, yeah, I agree with that.
Rocket Lab through those highs and ripping here. Boy, you really had to be. You had to have these things set. We kind of ran right out of the gate here. Looking at the broader market here, SPY did bounce out of the gate. I wouldn't, given the craziness of what we've seen here, I would not be surprised if we tested that 555. This is what we said right at the beginning when we covered SPY here today. 555 definitely going to be one of those upside spots, but maybe this is the start of a down move. We'll see here on SPY. It looks like it's retesting its VWAP. Let's take a look at the Qs while we're at it here. Qs already beneath the VWAP. Maybe we go lower. That actually looks like it's going to retest its lows. IWM pretty strong here. A little bit of a pullback, but it looks like the buyers are stepping in.
And, there's not going to be too much in the way of really big market moving news next week. Mm-hmm. Next week, we're going to get things like the Red Book, FOMC meeting minutes. There's another housing one that is not coming to my mind. I don't want to say it's not housing starts. We got that today. We get mortgage index next week as well. I think it's might be I think it's existing and new home sales that we get next week as well. So I think that's going to be the biggest piece of news next week, and that's going to be later on. The FOMC meeting minutes, we already know what they said. We already know what they're thinking. I don't think that's going to, and it might move the market a little bit, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal.
Looks like we have some register rings in order for Rocket Lab, which is really kind of ripping here. GTech actually pulling back to the VWAP, doing its best job to hold this here. Volume on the backside of this move kind of died off. If this volume were a little bit higher, I'd try this for a bounce here. That could change really quickly, but that's kind of what I'm looking at on GTech. Nice to get above this VWAP, but really don't want to just kick it back all the way.
Well, Sing, much like when I try to sing, is flat. So it has not really done a whole lot right now. It's just moving sideways.
Okay, I've not. You know what? Now that I think about that, I've never heard you test out the golden pipes.
Yeah, that's because they aren't golden. They're tarnished silver, I guess. But
Brian Jones here, being our resident Elton John, going with the Rocket Man right here. How many of you folks are playing some Elton John this morning? Love to know. Oh, Shaka thinks you've got the voice of an angel, though. 13, look out. Look out.
Well, I appreciate that. But
Lion saying, I will not short Nvidia getting close to earnings. So Lion, it sure seems to me like you kind of think there's some more downside coming in Nvidia, but you're not willing to hold that through the earnings sprint. It's the same boat that I'm in, my man.
Yeah, I think that Nvidia is going to have this run up into earnings, and then it might sell off. I think that's kind of what this whole big push up in the market is this kind of playing the last of the semis before we get to September, and that's going to be Nvidia. And then we do have AVGO Broadcom that reports just after September begins, it's after Labor Day, but. I don't know if the market's holding completely for that one. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Nvidia, and then we start to see an unwinding.
Daniel Torres, first of all, Daniel, when you bring this type of politeness to that, yes is the answer. Yo, can I get a register ring cleared 144% on Palantir, and you're done for the day, and it's not even 10 o'clock yet? Bro, you can get more than that. We'll give you a register ring. You just leveled up on a Friday, and you made Chewbacca proud. So well done, Daniel. Enjoy your weekend, bro. Shaka saying he's got his weekend wallet buffer, and he's out too. Oh, man. Our chat just printing early and then starting the weekend. You love to see it. Robert, I know you got to be gearing up here for the weekend. You had a monster week. You also get a one-up. Feel like Oprah over here giving Oprah. Did I just call her Oprah? I'm going to stake. You know what? Oprah is her new name. Anyway, you get a register ring too, Robert.
Everything's doing really well. Seekin said he bought so much gold. I mean, that's kind of been the thing. We're still printing $1 trillion in debt every 100 days. So still think it's a pretty good hedge against inflation.
GTech here, so it did try to pop off that VWAP. This is what I was talking about, where the volume kind of showing up here. We'll see if it's got strength. There's a number of different spots here that have some offers, so we'll see if we end up getting that there. Yeah, actually gonna look to maybe do multiple buys on this. We'll see.
Yeah, it looks like it wants to go higher, but it might need a little bit more time.
Dip buyers on Clove took this right back to the highs. And actually, the thing that I like the most here about this is going to be that volume. I know it kind of dropped off here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start to get more volume sticks that look like this. If that's the case, Clove may not be done here for today. That's still at the highs.
So you kind of would think that. I think because Joby and Archer are American companies, that they're going to move together a little bit better than XPEV, because that's or am I thinking of EHang? I thought that EHang was the flying one. Am I wrong about that?
TNXP looks like this had a wild. Did this have a monkeypox angle? Let me see here real quick. TNXP.
Yeah, XPeng is the smart electric vehicle, the EVs. I thought EHang was the EHang is the VTOL, the drone that you can fly and drive.
Real quick here, folks, for you penny players, TNXP PR here this morning. This is a monkeypox play, it would appear. Tonix Pharmaceuticals provides an update on the development of its single-dose live attenuated virus vaccine candidate for monkeypox. Company says TNX 801 will provide long-term protection for monkeypox and smallpox with one dose. You can see this was higher here in the pre-market. We're now popping off the lows back towards the VWAP. Penny play TNXP.
To circle around real quick back to EHang, because I think Seekin, that's what you were asking about.
What's the ticker? EH.
Yeah, so this is the one that would be competing with Archer and Joby, and I don't know as much about the other two as I'm sorry, I don't know much about this one as I do the other two, because this is a China one, and they I think the certifications they've been getting have all been within China. I don't know about any expansion they're doing outside of China, and I'd have to read into that. I know that Archer has already been getting contracts in and outside of the United States. Not sure about Joby, but I think Archer is still going to be the big leader, for the moment anyway. So
I look at this. Michael James here. As of yesterday, I closed. I had doubled my whole account, but I'm not done yet. God, you guys are literally pumping me up here, as you do all of the time. Decent morning here. No day trades for me yet, but boy, oh boy, this swing account is rocking. Bitcoin plunging to the lows here.
Yeah, Fairchild. Lilium is that's a super interesting one as well. They're pretty different compared to the vehicles that Joby, EHang, and Archer are making. I think that's also based in Bavaria, I believe. So they are already in a different country. But yes, Lilium is an interesting one. I think they need to do a reverse split first before they start becoming really, really popular. But that's another one to watch. Lilium.
Bernard with a good question here. Is going to train all the pilots needed with all these electric AC takeoff?
Well, some of them are automated, so they won't need pilots.
Oh, that sounds safe.
What would you rather have? Would you rather have?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm not sure I trust all of this automated stuff.
They do have piloted aircraft, though.
Here's a pretty good list. Most have already reported earnings to look at pullbacks. So this is Jay here giving you a list ahead of time to look for some pullbacks in some of the names. I'm just going to run through them really quick here. NVIDIA, Lilly, SN, Kava, TMDX, Meta, Palantir, Docs, App, Melly, 4, SMG, HWM, Accent, Spot, Shop, Fix, Now, Avago, Shock, and you. So
yes,
my suggestion here when Jay, this is pretty much just a wall of tickers here. If you want to add these to the list here, go ahead and screenshot this. The other thing is if you copy just tickers that are separated by a comma and space, you can paste them right into Benzinga Pro. That's your pro tip for the morning. By the way, GTech, 13. GTech doing a good job holding above its VWAP here. Let's see if this can actually move towards the highs. The volume's kind of dying out here, but I kind of think that this is not done. I'm back and forth with myself here on position. 13. Get in there, man.
No, it's okay. It's when in his list, I noticed Scott's Miracle Grow, and that was a massive winner at one point for me. And I love this company. This also has a cannabis side to it as well, but it's basically a fertilizer company, and they pay a dividend, and it seems like that dividend yield is at a pretty good spot. Just need a little bit more confirmation that we aren't going to go lower, and this is looking attractive to me.
Sing here popping off the VWAP. Really good call, Robert.
Nice. Careful with this one. Careful with Sing. Remember, they still need cash.
Yep, that's coming back in, but it tried to move.
Looks like 11 is still the intraday high. That's higher than the pre-market. So 11 is where it needs to break. If it does that, 1155 would be an upside target, 1150, 1155, and then 1250 to 55.
IWM ripping.
ASTS has no chill. This thing is absolutely insane. Not a single red candle since
no pullback, just like the market. No pullbacks.
Yeah, just the first opening candle was red, and since then it's just been green as grass. This is unreal. Hey, all right. Just looking through some of these tickers, some of this stuff looks pretty cool. NYCB, 1055, that's ripping. That's great. QNTM, that has done a whole lot of nothing today. Not saying that it won't later, because we've seen how a lot of these things will just make the move later on in the day.
Yep.
What was the one that did it yesterday? Because I think you had mentioned one. You mentioned that was what's going to happen, and sure enough, one of those ones ended up moving like that.
Yeah, what was it? My God, I get these tickers so mixed up if they're not right in front of my face.
GovX, by the way, that is pushing right now, trying to get to that intraday high of 440. 455, 56 is where the next upside resistance level is. Something I was going to say now, I can't remember what it was. Oh well, must not have been important, right?
No, it's just we say a lot. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of flipping around. We say a lot. It's easy to get mixed up.
Yeah, I do.
EZ. Sweet green here higher.
XPEV is EV, but also making a flying EV. Do they have anything right now though? Like I think at this point that, and I know that GM has even said that they want to do an EV. I don't remember if you guys remember that announcement back. I think it was like in 2021 when GM said they were going to try to get into the EV or the EV toll space.
That made Archer and Joby pop, if I recall correctly. I think we were trading those names back then, weren't we? 13.
Yeah,
we talked about those in happy hour, I believe, as well.
Not a pure play. There's no buy 'em. Okay, but it's at least it's something to think about. When we see these other ones moving, we can always go back to look at XPEV and see if that's doing the same. So good mention.
Dustin mentioning NVIDIA pulling back to the VWAP here. Dustin saying possible croaking. Interesting use of croaking. We'll see if it moves through that VWAP to the downside.
Okay, so Jay Rice, what do you think? Yeah. Everybody's just talking about ASTS as I was about to ask.
Look, this has been...
Is it 40? Is it 40? Is that where this party ends, at 40?
This recent candle just seems like a blow-off top candle to me.
I thought yesterday was a blow-off top
That's
candle.
what I mean. That's what I mean. And then here today, here we go, even higher.
Thank you, Seekin. All right.
Look at Wolf. Who was on Wolf? Someone mentioned this earlier. Was it Wiss? Someone was on this one earlier. This ramped. Didn't take a look at it soon enough.
Yeah.
Of X testing HOD. Looks like it's trying to break that double top there.
And GTech. This one's also pushing up again too.
Yeah, this was I tell you what, this
260. That's probably going to be the well. I see there's some size at 250, so it might have some trouble there. But the pre-market high is 260, and the after-hours high yesterday was 275. Michigan consumer sentiment is out. That has always been a bit of a wishy-washy print for me. Like sometimes the market will move on it, sometimes it doesn't. What's the market doing today after that print? Okay, so the expectations don't seem to have changed. I'm not sure that there's going to be a whole lot of movement off of this. I mean, you tell me. What do you
Tesla, dude. Look at Tesla.
Yeah. Okay, GTech. Here we go to 250. He's going to try to take out that.
The buy was at VWAP here on GTech. Grats to anyone that took that one. That was the buy. VIX getting melted. I think we're on our way to 13 on the VIX. I don't think there's any chill for this market. I don't think there's any chill.
That makes sense, Jay. I appreciate it.
GTech coming back in off those highs.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff doing pretty well. It's fun to watch. My antimony play is not doing too bad either. Archer coming up to the intraday high. And it looks like it wants to try 4, but again, there was that there's resistance levels I mentioned. GTech 251 it got up to. So
they refilled some of that size there at 250 as well that we're going to need to take out to go higher here.
Yeah, and the volume's still looking pretty good.
Good morning. Stay focused. Thanks for joining us.
There
Hope
he
you're
is.
doing well here today. There he is. There he is.
Let me bring up Tesla since that's getting mentioned. So we're almost at, we broke through that resistance line. Then it looks like, I think, let me just double check, make sure I'm not saying something wrong. Yeah, we moved up over it. So let's say that this keeps going. Well, there's some consolidation that's going to have to work through at this point. That's back from late July. But if it gets through that, then you're looking at 226 is the next level to the upside, followed by 232. And then we can talk about, you know, the price potentially filling a gap. Oh, Lunar starting to move, because that was the one that also launches. They were the one that launched the ship to the, was it the moon or was it an asteroid? I forget which one it was.
Wasn't it an asteroid? They landed something and it tipped over. Or was that the moon?
Yeah,
that was the
I
one
thought it
that
was the
tipped
moon.
over. Yeah. I know
Yes.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sing back down to the VWAP here. What do you think, Robert? Do we bounce here or do we crack and go lower on Sing? Jay's Life. Are you trading this one too? I feel like you've mentioned this ticker. What do you think here? Right at the VWAP.
Yeah, if it doesn't hold the VWAP, then 880 is where I'd be looking for some support. That was a nice pop to 1128 though.
Sure was. Robert here. Good advice. When we are green, take advantage because it never lasts. Indeed, Robert.
ASTS finally putting in a red candle. Next minute will tell us if it's going to stay that way on the 5-minute chart.
Sing looking like it's going to try and take this VWAP area down. There's some bids right beneath it. Let's see if they get hit.
GTech also weakening.
Jay saying Sing needs to hold above 944. So that looks to be the spot here. We are bouncing on Sing. Okay. All the space stocks ramping. Exactly, Pablo. You are on it. Space, Lunar, Rocket Lab, ASTS, they're all going.
That's the next frontier.
Space is the next frontier. God, how do you do it, bro?
What do you mean?
Come up with these lines. I know, I'm joking.
I watch Star Trek.
I know. Of course you do. Duh. To the moon,
Yeah,
Brian.
to the moon.
Indeed. Still watching this Sing here.
Yeah, it is the final frontier in their opening, but it's for us. It's the next one. Who knows what the final frontier is going to actually be? Could be. I don't know. It could be something beyond space. It could be interdimensional travel. We're not even close to that yet. It's not even something we're worth talking about. Let's just talk space. Right now, these space stocks are ripping because everybody wants to go there. We want to start traveling in space.
Found the Trekkie.
Actually, I like Star Wars more, but just not these days.
Yeah.
Because it's crap these days.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. I too, the Star Wars was a huge thing for my childhood. Huge thing for my childhood.
Bro, Star Wars is the way. And you're right, it was. That was a big thing for me too, but
yeah.
We wanted to do all this crap to it. Anyway. ASTS now finally cooling. It's going to come back to VWAP.
How did anyone else do on CMG, by the way? I was trading that recently. We had a huge move yesterday. All out of CMG was a decent trade. Anyone still trading this? Anyone do pretty well on this one? Love to know. How old is William Shatner? He has why is he still about? Wait, he has every wit still about him. He's very fortunate. Chris, that's true. In fact, he's on some unexplained show on History Channel, and you wouldn't even guess he's in his 90s. Does a great job. On that.
Purgatory Park, do you have any articles or anything that you could link about them actually successfully having a mining operation on the dark side of the moon? My only information I got on that was that they got a sample and they returned that to Earth. They're not mining it. That's the sample they returned. If you want to call that mining, I guess, but if you have something that says that they actually have a continuing operation there, I'd love to see it.
Really quickly here, GTech coming back in towards the VWAP. 222 is the VWAP. Watch if it gets there, it could bounce. But I've got good news for you folks. We've got register rings in order. Amanda, I got out of CMG yesterday AM. Boom. I know it ran the rest of the afternoon, but that was still a really good trade. Good stuff there. Shaka. Boy, Shaka, you've really been killing it here. recently. Nice little octopus avatar there as well. Shaka CMG was good. Sold just a few handles up. Fair swing trade. Boom. Chris, I eat CMG every day, so I'm helping you long traders. You know what, Chris? Thinking with your stomach, just like Chewbacca, he'd be proud. Let's effing go. We'll take that. And then Lion Atlas, yes. So you're still in CMG. Interesting. Really good stuff there. Lion Atlas. Glad that trade worked out for multiple people. That was good. That was really good.
Robert mentioning Kratos. This is one of those Iron Dome defense stocks that we were talking about. That actually having a really good. This had a great move after it taught. Yeah, Kratos. That had a great move after the 200-day SMA. Pushing through the 50 right now, testing the 20. This is looking pretty nice.
I love it. I ate a CMG bowl last night, still holding. Chris, you're a legend. I love this. I absolutely love this. I'm still holding CMG. Ben, awesome. Really good stuff there. I look, I love that this is helping out an entire community here. Michael, love this comment too. You wouldn't believe how much George Lucas uses the ancient tablets and stories for the base of his movies. It's kind of crazy. I would believe that. And a lot of those ancient stories are absolutely crazy. It's really spectacular how so many stories from like the Bible and the Epic of Gilgamesh are very, very similar. I'm with you on this. I think that stuff's entirely fascinating. Thought and the Emerald Tablets, all that stuff. Into all of it, Michael. Love to hear that.
ASTS pulling back.
Hey, did we finally get some resistance? Is this the look at this? Look at this. What was that? Is that 37? Almost 37 there, pulling back to 33. Boy, oh boy. This is why we don't chase.
The Phoenix and Ferb Star Wars is the best one. I like the Family Guy one too. That one was pretty hilarious.
Still cooking.
Yes, make me rich. Keep eating CMG. That's awesome.
CMG right. For lunch today? Question mark.
Man, Sing is just so sideways. G-Tech. I mean, it looks like things are starting to slow down now because it doesn't look like the moves are happening.
What I'm hoping for is that we actually get maybe a little bit of a pause and then allow ourselves some good entry on some of these and then have some decent secondary moves. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see if we get it. Tesla 219. Boy, Tesla, man, this is just ripping. Stay focused. If you're out there, what are you on here today? What are you looking at?
That's interesting. I didn't know that. And if that's true, that's awesome. That's probably why it was so good. You know, when you have that's something I know about when you transfer media from one transfer content from one medium to another, like books to movies and whatnot. If you have like the actual writer of the book helping you with the movie, it always ends up a lot better than if you just had the writers kind of had free reign to do whatever they wanted. So yeah, that's awesome to hear. Now it makes sense why it was as good as it was.
Indeed. Michael, I knew you guys were the best. Now it's confirmed.
Take care of you, Paul.
Pumps. Big fist pumps. Take care of who?
You, Paul. He was green for the week. Signing out. You have a great rest of the weekend, man.
Have a great weekend. Namaste.
Looks like QNTM trying to actually make another move for VWAP. Very slow moving, but keep an eye on it in case the volume expands. ASTS with its third leg down now, third red leg down. Maybe there's a bounce coming at about 31.75.
You took the words literally off the frontal lobe of my brain right there. I'm thinking to myself, where could there be a bounce here? Let's see if we get it here on ASTS.
Yeah, and Lynn Williams saying ASTS collapse. It could, but this is the third red candle down, and the whole thing about rule of threes. It is the MACD does show it is rolling over, so this could go lower. But if there is going to be a bounce, I'd say 31.75 might be the spot where we get that.
Love this. Here. Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, it's doing it right now. It's testing that level I just mentioned.
Real quickly here, Pan W, giddy up. Chris, I like that. I like that. Almost out of my short here. By the way, the Pan W moved. Really good spot, Chris, for you right off that daily. Look at this. Look at this resistance area right here. And you're trading this on the regression. That's a wonderful job, Chris. Wonderful job here this morning. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. G-Tech back down here to the VWAP. Let's see, do we get a bounce? GovX Hub, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Here's ASTS. Are we going to bounce here?
So far, it's giving a little bit of a bounce.
Who's playing this for the bounce? Who's playing this for the bounce?
It's just, it's just not going to, it might not hold, but it is, there is a little bit of support there. So temporary bounce, probably going to go back down to the consolidation that we were getting this morning.
Have to second this comment. This one was really good. Michael Storm, with that Joker avatar, you're pretty cool yourself. Agreed. Love that. Love it. Love it.
It really does look like Sing's going to choose a direction at some point soon. The consolidation has gotten so narrow. And it could be a big, violent move in whatever direction. Okay, so ASTS finally through that level after getting some support and a temporary bounce. Now we're getting back into the consolidation from this morning. Likely going to go down to 30, maybe. As low as 29.85. Would be I would expect that to be another support area between 29.85 and 30. All right. QNTM still trying to push through that VWAP. Very slow moving. No expansion volume quite yet. Looks like things are just kind of cooling off.
Yeah, things are. I don't know. Things are looking good. Things are looking good. Easy Mike saying Saiga short. Saiga caught some bad news yesterday. Saiga short. So you think it breaks down from here? Easy Mike. And Mike, shoot me an email. You have my email, right? I'd love to be able to reach out to you when I'm not live here. Let me know how I can do that, if that's appropriate for you.
Yeah, it's easy, Mike. Yeah, they did catch some bad news, but they've been trading pretty well this morning.
So I get trying to bounce up its VWAP as we speak here.
Yeah, let me get a daily chart going up here because this is the one I was mentioning where I had all kinds of weird green candles. Yeah, it seems like we're just kind of chopping around in a range with this one. But I agree, Easy Mike, that for the purpose of the monkeypox trade, that's really bad news because it means that they're probably not going to be a player.
TTD did get above 100, hasn't run yet. Want to see if we get an opportunity there. Not yet though. GovX new highs here. That was a great move off that VWAP.
Yeah, GovX that went through the that level I had mentioned at 455. Next one is going to be 490. We'll see if we get that. It's been holding up. VWAP's been holding this one up pretty nicely so far this morning.
ASTS, no bounce yet here. We'll see if this finds a bottom.
Let's see where that price is at. Because I think I had some level. Yeah, it was like between 29.75 or I'm sorry, 29.85 and 30, I believe is where I was looking for a bottom.
Jay, here we go, Jay. Appreciate this. Ryan, I'm waiting for ASTS to go over 32.25 to buy the bounce. So, okay. So that's what you're I love that because you're actually waiting for this to confirm that bounce. I think that's really smart. ASTS completely now retracing the move from today, from the open. A complete retracement, $7 almost retracement. There we
go. There it is. Here. There's that area where I was looking for support. Let's see if it holds. If 29.80, I was looking at 29.85 to 30. So this is where we need to bounce, and it is just chewing right through it. But there's still about 3.5 minutes left in this candle, so we'll see what it does.
I kind of want to play this for a bounce. You guys have got me looking at this. Look at this snap through 29 there. Boy, this thing's all over the place.
Now we're in yesterday's trading territory. It's taken out all of after hours and pre-market. So shoot right through that spot that I was looking at.
What's your next one here? 29. You think it bounces off 29? I'm kind of tempted. This does feel like overdone here. We're going to snap 29.
Well, it was overdone yesterday. So at this point, I would say, 27, somewhere between 25.50 and 27.
Okay. Jay Rice saying the late buyers not happy indeed. And when watching this move just continually rip up, my thought here is, where can we actually hit this for a bounce? Where can we hit this for a bounce? 27.28 is Glenn's calling here.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty much in that same.
This thing has already bounced $1 off that 29 level. Holy moly!
China buying gold again. Did they ever stop? I thought it's been consistently buying it for a while.
27.28. Glenn, I'm going to be watching that level, man. You've been really sharp with those levels too.
Yep.
Riley here. Riley at the top end of the range. Large buyers on the books, 29.50 and 29. Thank you, Amanda. Looking like it's trying to hold that up here. We'll see if we end up getting that. Still think I like Jay's Life's plan the most. Wait for this to confirm a bounce. Don't try and catch the knife. Could have tried at 32, 31, 30, and 29. Sell your peanuts when the circus is in town. Makes a lot of sense.
I mean, the circus has been in town for a while. Circus has been in town for a while.
Yeah, it sure has.
B Riley above VWAP, but still looking weak. G-Tech, that actually turned around.
When things slow down, we have some newer people. Can you show them how we read the tape on any stock? Sure. Oh, here, I think you redid that one. Can you maybe show them how we read the tape on any stock? Sure. It's actually one of the reasons why I hold the ladder open here, because I feel like this is a really good visualization for looking at the order book. 13 does an excellent job calling out a lot of those levels there when he sees blocks and size. And basically, one of the things that we're doing here is we're looking to see when some of this kind of changes. So here, for example, ASTS, maybe we are here at a bottom, right? It's looking like it's kind of, let me zoom in so it's a little bit easier to see. It's really kind of slowed down, looking like it's trying to decide which way it's going to go here. This is definitely different than some of these red candles that we've had. And looking at the volume flow, we're looking for really kind of big orders to come in here, either on the sell or the buy side. The other thing, folks, is a lot of you guys call out tapering stuff. Here we go. Here's 30 on ASTS, looking like we're trying to take that out here and go higher. Jay, let me ask you, Ryan, it looks like 28.92 is the low so far. So Jay, let me ask you, Jay's Life, speaking of tape reading here, now that we've kind of moved lower, are you actually waiting for that same $32 level to confirm the bounce? Or do you maybe move that level down? Curious to know how you answer that.
Yeah, this candle's probably going to give us an early indication of if this is going lower or not.
Okay.
Not going to give us the indication, but it might give us a clue. I don't bunt. It's always funny when Amanda talks about me because it's always... He always says something funny.
You Packer fans, you guys band together like Velcro. It's wild. Wild stuff. Like 29 coming here on ASTS. We'll see if we bounce again. Sorry, 13. Didn't mean to run you over there.
No problem. It was a bad joke. It looks like Singh's trying to find a bottom. But
I love this. Nancy saying Chipotle is opening a place by me. Their profits next quarter will be stellar. I feel that. I feel that for sure, Nancy. Chipotle is so good. Might have to do that for lunch today. Got to get my exercise out of the way, though, first.
ASTS still trying to hold up.
Yep. Still kind of waiting this out here. Okay. Jay, I appreciate this. Asking you that direct question and then giving me a direct answer with a price level. Brilliant. Ryan, I'm looking for ASTS to go over 30.45. So at this point now, we're looking to confirm this bounce. This candle actually looks pretty decent. Still have 2 minutes left in this 3-minute candle just to see if this confirms a bottom, but maybe right here, maybe
Yeah, and 30's got a large amount of sell orders there. So that's going to be the big upside level to get to. And then once we get past that, might have a much better time moving.
Jay here, appreciate this. Looking into the options market on this name as well. Call buying yesterday when we saw that huge move. Today, this seems to have changed to put buying. Jay, let us know if that changes. I'm actually keeping in one eye here on the scanner too, but I hadn't noticed any. Pablo, you on GovX? That over 5 now on GovX. That thing, man, that tell you what, that was another. Look at this, dude. What were wasting way too much time here trying to find that ASTS bounce. Look at this break right here that we got. Look at this break, this push-up impulse move built above the VWAP, snap that up. This has been very difficult to trade. It's been very hard to buy these upside breakouts, but God damn, did it work on GovX here. Pablo, yeah. Register ring, baby. Let's go.
That's like the biggest, real body candle I've seen on this thing in a long time. Maybe ever.
LGCL here, Lucas GC Limited, this moving higher here.
Let's see here.
I did not buy AMD this morning, Lion. No, I did not. And it looks like we should have. Sorry, man. ASTS, did we finally confirm that bottom? Yep, we did. Here's the level that Jay was looking for, 30.45. We just got it. Jay, you know what? I'm going to go with you right here. Let's see. Let's see if we continue this bounce here, Jay.
GovX, next upside target is going to be right about where we are. It's going to be 525. After that, there's going to be a whole bunch of consolidation between there and $6. So we might see some resistance in GovX. But if the orders keep coming in, the volume keeps expanding, we can push through that. But from December of last year to some halfway through January, there's a bunch of consolidation that the price currently has to work
here. And this is on GovX. I'm going to come back to ASTS. I'm going to give this a little bit here. Hopefully I don't get absolutely smoked on this. I've had such a good week in my main account. Might stretch out the risk a little bit here on the prop. We'll see though. Here is your GovX chart. Look at that. It actually doesn't look like that's near done either. See if that keeps pushing here. Here is ASTS. Let's see if we bounce. Got a little bit of size there at 336. So to Amanda's thing earlier about reading the tape, one of the things that I do here, especially when I look on some of this level two, when I see outstanding orders that are bigger than the other flow, I take note on how see how that just recaptured both of those just real quick. That just tells me that the buyers are still interested here and they're still looking to take this higher. Even though we kind of moved down through that level, we're kind of reading what the flow is here. This to me, it sure feels like this is going to go higher here. We'll see if we end up getting that 30.77, another one of those spots that's got some size there. Let's see if we take that. Boom, baby. Boom, baby. Come on, Jay. Let's take out this 377 and go higher here, huh?
Lauren mentioning EBS, Emergent Biosolutions.
Yeah, that was Jay Rice has been on that one. Here we go, ASTS. Let's see if we can get above 30.87 now. Probably look for profits above 31 if we do it.
Yeah, 31, about 31.50 seems like that's going to get some resistance.
Shaka, have a good one, man. Enjoy your weekend. Really good stuff this week. I'll go over to EBS. I'll go over to EBS here as soon as we can figure something out with this ASTS bounce trade. Oh, yeah. So who's got weekend plans here? Anyone really excited for the weekend? I know I am. Going lower here on ASTS. Let's see where we settle. Might actually be able to size up in this for a bounce if it continues to show that.
Yeah, GovX trying to chew through that consolidation. Got up as high as 545. Might be having some trouble here. We'll see.
Tom, I'm dancing this weekend. Okay, that is not something that I've heard very often from people. I'm dancing. Are you a salsa guy?
I bet he's a hit with all the ladies.
Going fishing in the Florida Keys? That sounds awesome.
You got it right, Brian Jones. You got it right.
Hey, we'll take that. Typical dad stuff. Mow lawn, grill things, drink beer. Can't argue with that, dude. That sounds pretty good.
I'm sorry, Jay Rice. I did not see that at the beginning of the day today. I just didn't have my eyes on the screen at the time. Got
Dare
back
you.
550.
How dare you?
I know. I gotta kind of have one screen, one eye going this way and the other one going that way. If you guys are okay with me looking a little cockeyed, that's how it's going to be.
That reminds me of a movie. Here we go on ASTS. Let's see if we bounce and get over those levels we were just looking at. Looks like they refilled some size there at 72, but not a whole lot. Should be able to take it out if it's got some strength. We shall see. I'm going to the mountains in Tennessee. I'll tell you what, I've been looking at Tennessee,
awesome.
Lion. That is awesome. Here we go on ASTS. Let's go higher here, baby. Lake Livingston isn't the Keys. Oh, you must be responding to somebody else. But it's my happy place. Oh, okay. Now I see. I just needed to keep reading, of course. ATV races with my... God, you guys are doing all of the cool stuff.
ATV races, I guess I'm curious, what state are you in? Because it's so hot everywhere. And I don't know that I'd want to be out too long because I love doing ATVs, but the places that I've been to have been the sand dunes, and that's usually in the fall when we go fall and winter. So just kind of curious, where you go and that's not going to sear your scalp. Because ATVs are, oh man, they're the best thing.
A Lion, yes, I would, man. Yes, I would, especially if I can get a slab of property that I can put my own gun range.
Wisconsin.
On.
So it's fairly good weather there and there. Yeah, great weather. Okay, great. Yeah, because where I've gone has been out at Glamis in California. They've got some great sand dunes, but it's so hot out there during the summer. You have to wait until the fall and winter.
ASTS, this bounce kind of losing some steam here. A little bit disappointed about it, but we'll see. Might actually book and see if I can get a better price.
Yeah, still thinking that that 3150 area might be the a bit of a topping out area for this one if it can continue to push up there. But remember, this is still right now trading in that pre-market consolidation area.
Yep. Here we go. Here we go.
In.
Here's the 87. This was that one of those other spots. See, it gets up there every time and it can't quite take it. Oh, take it. You were just on there. You were on it. It was on the ask. Slap that ask and take it out. Let's go. There it goes. It's exactly what we wanted to see. Boom. I'll take that here. Let's see if we can get this to set up again. Jay. His life with a great call there. I bet this keeps going too. 31 was what we were looking for. Just printed it. Jay's life. Boop, boop. Making money for the group.
FFIE doing a reverse split. Oh god!
Again? How many reverse splits is this thing going to do? Really? Is that for real?
So that would be the fourth.
Oh, heavens to Betsy,
the third this year, actually. They did one. So as far as this year goes, they did one on March 1st. They did a. Wait a minute. They do a split, or they've done a split on Monday? Because I'm seeing that one for 40 was. Oh no, this is planned. Okay, so that's Monday. Okay, so that would be this would be the third one then. I'm sorry, I thought that we were gonna that this was already done. Okay, so what do we have on here on the split calendar here? Is that one for 40 he's talking about? They announced it on the 15th. They announced it yesterday.
How many reverse splits will this thing do? The answer, yes. Alyssa, look, we talked a little bit recently about people being on fire here. Robert literally is the Human Torch right now, but you have been on fire too with some of these one-liners. They have been spectacular this week. Really just energy from everybody this week. You just love it.
Yeah. Gotta keep things like, spicy or whatever.
Yeah, see?
You know, the thing about FFIE, they need to raise cash. FFIE needs to raise cash. So when they split, get ready for them to do an offering. They've never done one before, and they need to. Now you want to look at a company that this is one of my most hated companies ever. I successfully traded it back when it was moving, but I don't want to ever touch this thing again. FCell, this thing is just gross. It has reverse split, and if you look at the number of offerings it's had, this thing it's just a money losing machine. Look at the number of this. You see this?
No, I'm going to pull it up here so we can all look at it together real fast.
Let's all laugh at
FC. I mean, I'm not okay. FCEL, is this what we're
oh yeah, this thing is awful.
Look
awful. Look at it. It's reverse split multiple times. It makes multiple offerings. It had 3 in 2020. That's when it was trading and it was moving, because you would trade it would trade up, and then you would just need to get out before it does an offering, because it did 3 that year. This thing is awful. Remember when it was about 3 or 4 months ago, someone said it was going to 10. All garbage. Yeah, FFIE, same thing. It's one of those stocks that was one of the memes. The meme stock.
Yeah. I mean, so here's fuel cell. Did you want me to look at FFIE as well?
That's up to you. I was just pointing and
You don't sound too thrilled about what
I was just pointing and laughing at FCell is all. Haha, this stock is still listed for some reason.
Okay. All right. Guys, just kind of an update here on the agenda for today. 10:45-ish. Zunaid's going to do an interview. Be about 10 minutes, and we'll come back here, wrap up live trading. Then we're going to do Anne-Marie. Then we're going to do Sandy. And if Anne-Marie can't make it, 13 and I will just continue. So we got stuff on this Friday lined up here for you. Let's go back and find something else to trade here. Not FFIE though, huh? How did ASTS finish up? I pulled. See, 31. That's what I was telling you. Jay, you did a really good job kind of reorganizing where the bounce confirm was. We figured out a decent profit plan. We executed that plan. And excuse me, here we are here today. Just good stuff all around.
Great job, Tom, on your 15%. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday, buddy.
Yeah, love this. Love it, Tom.
Ooh,
catch some sunshine. I can't argue with that.
Somebody mentioned Z-Car, and it was having a good move, and then it just went ouch. Yeah, this one, I don't know. It's going to reverse split. They have to, or they won't be compliant. They'll reverse split, and they'll probably need to raise cash. Let's see, $1.5 million on the balance sheet.
Which ticker? Sorry,
this is Z-Car.
Z-Car. We talked about this one, right? Yeah. We made jokes about this one. Yeah,
not today, but earlier this year. So still losing money. Had one good quarter last year. This is going to need to reverse split and raise cash. I'm not interested right now. It'll be a good trade later, but not right now.
Well, that's right. She's traveling today. I thought I did.
Lake Conroe is nice. I was out there last year. We were looking for a place for my in-laws. They ended up going with Magnolia. Lake Conroe. That's such a nice place to be, though. I really liked it out there. You know, it weirdly reminded me of Newport Beach, the way that they had all kinds of marinas and boats set up. It was a very kind of a posh community out there where I was looking around. Really reminded me of Newport Beach, California. Very nice place. Taking profit on NVIDIA. You get it, Lion. Diz pushing. You know, there have been some very interesting developments happening out of Diz lately. Behind the scenes, especially in the Marvel camp. I don't want to get too into it, but there's a real big power struggle with how the success of Wolverine and Deadpool is making all the DEI hires kind of look like fools, especially over in the Star Wars camp, where they're not able to really produce anything good out of there. But Ryan Reynolds has actually been a pretty insane driving force for Disney lately, and there could be some really interesting things happening over there with him being so involved in different projects they're doing. Disney might be turning around. What? Real
quick here, I have to, just because I have to. Fairchild saying he needs a bigger boat. You're going to need a bigger boat. You're going to need a bigger boat for sure, especially with all these gains that we're racking in here today.
Oh, Robin, I live in the Houston area.
Boom.
Oh, Woodlands, it's great. No, I live over around Katy.
Look at GovX, guys. Do we get 6 prints? Do I hear 6? Do I hear 6?
Galveston last week. You know, I get conflicting things about Galveston. I think Corpus Christi is a better beach to go to, but that's I don't want to talk down on Galveston. That's just my opinion. It's also further away too, so it'd have to be Galveston I'd have to go to, but really want to do Corpus Christi instead. GTech might be finding some bottoming here. Needs to see some more volume. Take care, Lion Atlas. I'll see you Monday.
Lion, have yourself a good weekend, dude. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for all you do. Look at Crow. Just reminding you, folks. Just reminding you that the Crow is out here. Caw, baby. Alerting you at 120 on GovX. Looking for maybe 6 prints today. Crow just getting it done. Crow getting it done.
Yeah. H-Town gang. That's right. Deep South trading, baby.
Oh, I love this question. I want to see 100 answers to this question. How many people do we have in here? Between all of our broadcasts, we're looking at an audience of about 1,300 right now. I want to see at least 200 answers to this question. If you could tell your 18-year-old self one thing about stock trading, what would you tell yourself? Take it. My advice here. I'll start. Take a deep breath. Don't be afraid to watch, and remember, there's gonna be a play tomorrow. When I was first getting into stocks, the thing that I thought all the time is, I need to make this play today. I need to make as much money as I can today. And my God, if I had just been more patient. If I had been more patient, I would have. Oh man, I would be.
My answer. Mark 999. Get it too.
What?
Mark 999 hit the
patience.
Same answer I have.
So, yeah, patience.
Just be patient with the strong, large companies. Just be patient with them.
Here, buy what you know and don't sell. This is another good one. In fact, I'm in the habit of telling people trade what you know as one of my biggest pieces of advice. Love this, Jay. Thank you. Glenn, love this one too. Cash is a position. Don't chase. Replace Daniel, dude. This is you guys. This is what I wanted to see.
That's a bar. Sorry, that's a bar. Put that on a t-shirt. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a bar. No, Zunaid. First of all, hello.
Hi.
Okay. Second, Zunaid, I love that he's got his deep manly voice.
That's a bar. Oh, see, look, Alyssa's joining too. Hello.
Hello. I'm just gonna say, like, yeah, that does belong on a t-shirt.
Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Daniel.
Let's get on that.
Daniel.
By the way, whoever said they downloaded Bumble because they installed the app, dude, I reached out to the IR folks, or Zoltan, our guy, reached out to the IR folks, and I told him to reach out saying, hey, our host, Zunaid, loves Bumble. He's on it 24/7. Would love to interview you. But they never got back to us. So that strategy failed.
They gave you the cold shoulder. Damn.
Similar to their app. Okay, I'll go back.
I was trying to make a joke, but you just swooped in and did it first. So congrats.
Got you. There you go.
They didn't swipe on him. Sorry.
They didn't swipe. What? Listen, hang on.
The Bumble didn't swipe on Zunaid.
Nope. They didn't swipe right on Zunaid. They just lefted him right out of here.
I like the question. It kind of makes me think, well, since we all have varying ages in here, go back to when you were 18. What was the Mag 7 stock that was that had the lowest price, that's now one of the biggest names now? Is it Google? Is it Amazon?
So I have a personal story about this. There we
go. Now we're talking.
But first, I want to shout out Sid here. Should have subscribed to Benzinga earlier. Yeah, facts. Facts, Sid. That's right, dude. Let's go. So when I was in high school, I don't know if I was exactly 18. I think it was actually a little bit younger. One of the things that I was begging my parents. I was like, look, guys, you need to do whatever you can to free up some money and buy Google for the long term. And I think we're talking like a $19 or whatever at the time. And they're like, why would you buy a search engine? There's like a bunch of them. There's like Lycos and Webcrawler and SGs and Yahoo. And I was like, guys, buy Google. They didn't. And our entire family would be millionaires had they have. And so that one's a little bit disappointing. Now, what I will say here is that we had another friend that was saying, hey, before the iPhone even came out, look, buy Apple. This company is really going to get things done. Buy Apple. We did get a little bit. My mom did. I ended up buying Apple later, and that has really been awesome. So Apple has worked. Google was the big miss, though.
So when I was 18, it was 2016, and I probably would try to tell myself like take a percentage of like each paycheck and just throw it in the SPY.
It's so good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so good, Alyssa. That is so good. And here's another thing about I don't know if this is in Alyssa's plan, but just to kind of ring a bell here. If what you do is take a little bit of your paycheck every week and then buy some SPY, eventually after enough time, one of the things that you've done is you've really created a situation where if you have an emergency, you can generate some cash. If you have SPY, if you have enough SPY after a period of time, and all of a sudden you get a car repair bill or something, and you just, how am I going to pay for this? Sell some upside calls against your SPY position. Get that influx of cash. If SPY moves up, they call your shares away. You made profit. If SPY moves down, you never pay that money back and you take care of your emergency. So, Alyssa, there's a lot of things that can kind of branch off from that piece of advice. Super smart. Like I said, great stuff. Okay. I got really, really excited there and stopped looking at the market. So you guys are going to have to bring me back down to reality here. Motion, I hope that was good for you. Great question. Just an absolutely fabulous question. I told a friend to buy Bitcoin at 3,000. He actually listened. I bet you and him are still friends. That's what I bet.
He throw you a party for that life-changing wealth you handed him?
Oh, that's
my
good
goodness.
times.
Oh my gosh. Actually, yeah, I would have told myself to buy the monkey JPEG too when it was $400.
Oh, yeah.
I got a story about
that's right.
Bitcoin.
You're an NFT whiz.
Yeah. Buy the monkey.
I was talking to a bunch of gamers back in 2009 about Bitcoin, and I just didn't understand it enough. And this is when it was still dirt cheap compared to today. So
yeah,
that was a big old boat I missed. I just didn't understand it well enough. It didn't make sense to me. I didn't want to put money into it. So that was a huge miss. But I was talking about it with some folks who were mining it back in 2009.
I had a buddy that bought 100 full Bitcoin back when I think the price was close to like $1 or something. It was really, really low. And I have a very similar, he told me about it and I was like, what is this really going to do? And then it went up like crazy and he sold it. He's like, dude, I told you I made $1,000 on this. And I'm like, well, that runs over. And then it did this. It went to, I mean, if he still had his 100 Bitcoin when that thing went to 61, 70K, oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I picked up several Bitcoin back when it was down to 4,000, right around the time the pandemic was, getting to be a thing. And I didn't hold it for very long. I traded it that year and made a good amount of money on it, but holding it would have been better.
Yeah.
But just didn't have enough conviction in the
my
asset.
First ever Bitcoin buy was at $6,100. I still have that Bitcoin. Now it's not a whole Bitcoin, it's partial, but I still have that position.
Antonopoulos is right about
I'll highlight the comment. Let's do it.
Yeah, because we've got to observe what's happened in the past. If you like history, I think you're gonna do well in the market because you're looking to see what's happened in the past, what companies been doing. Going to give you an idea about what's coming up.
Zunaid, are we ready for the all access here? Should we keep going? You tell us what we need to do.
Give me about 2 minutes. Yeah, it won't be an all access. It'll just be like an editorial aspect of it. But it's all good. It's all good. Just don't want the legal folks on us. You're good. But just give me like 2 minutes answering a Slack. Dan, I see you in the back. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready. We'll bring you on in about 2 minutes. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. So Zunaid will tell us when we're going to transition. 13. If I know you've got a family and a spouse, and that's obviously comes first, but if you can make it back here, I think we might be filling in for Anne Marie before Option Sandy. So up to you. I will for sure be back though, folks.
What time?
Right after the editorial interview that he's going to do here, from 11 to 11:30.
Okay, I'll stick around.
So in 14 minutes.
I'll stick around for a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Right,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, see you then, folks. I'm splitting right now, right? Or no?
No, I'm okay. Zunaid's going to let us know when to split. I definitely don't want you to leave personally, 13, but if you need to.
See you later, folks, when Zunaid says.
Peace, bro. See you later. I actually think that a lot of this stuff has kind of slowed down. I was kind of rolling through some of these tickers here. Okay. Yeah. It actually 13, guess what, folks? We got a little bit of an update here. Okay. We will have Anne-Marie. She just confirmed.
All right. My weekend begins.
So what are you drinking this weekend? What are you pouring in? What adult beverage are you going to enjoy?
Well, let's look over at the whiskey wall.
He's just got it right there in case the day really spirals out.
I don't know. I might go for it's. Probably, I mean, if I am going to have a drink, it's going to be either a Macallan or a Delmore.
Okay, that sounds pretty awesome. What is the best app for day trading? Your broker.
That would be a good one. Yes. And if you want to see how you can test your skills in a trading competition, you are welcome to join our trading competition powered by TradeZero. You don't have to put a single dollar down and you get a chance to win up to $30,000. Make sure you guys sign up. Should be fun. Should be exciting. I will, be a part of it. I can't win for obvious reasons, but it should be fun. All right, fellas, any final words before we move on to our interview? I know, Ryan, you're going to come back.
Go into this weekend with confidence, folks. You had a great time. I had a great time. I will see you all on Monday. We'll have some more fun. Take care, everybody.
I would like to reiterate what 13. That was so good. I'm going to reiterate what he said.
You got it, boss. All right. We will see you here shortly, Ryan. Dan, I will go ahead and bring you up now. How's it going, Dan?
It's going well. How about you?
I'm doing great. For the folks at home that don't know, this man is Dan Bernard, who is the president and CEO of Ideal Power. Ticker on the NASDAQ is IPWR. Dan, good to talk to you. You're doing some great things. I know you had earnings come out, I believe, on Wednesday. But for the folks at home that might not be familiar with your company, give us a brief overview of what is it that you do, please.
Yeah, our company makes a power semiconductor device. It's really used for power switching for applications like renewable energy, electric vehicles, EV charging, on the utility side for things like solid state circuit breakers. And it's all about making those applications more efficient. So there's more useful energy for the application. So for example, in an electric vehicle, our technology enables them to get greater range. If you've got solar with energy storage at your home or your business, more useful kilowatt hours for you.
All right. Now, you had reported earnings, as I mentioned, on Wednesday, I believe. Can you give us insights and some glimpses of the highlights from that report, please?
Sure. Since our last reporting, we've had quite a few really significant events that have happened here. First was we're now engaged with our third global automaker who is looking at our technology for use in their next generation EV platforms. We've got two top 10 automakers that we're already working with. Stellantis is one of the ones we've named, but we've now added a third automaker. So we're seeing great interest from the auto sector for our technology and in the way that they can lower the cost and improve the range of the electric vehicles. We added a second distributor for our products. As a small company, we rely on this distribution network that's been built for semiconductors and power electronics to reach those end customers. We added a great one called Ryosho. It's got great presence in Asia. We actually also qualified our second semiconductor wafer fab. We have one that we qualified in Asia. We qualified a second one here now in Europe. So we've got two really diverse locations to have our product made in case we have supply chain disruptions again, and plenty of capacity that will serve the customers that we're targeting here for the next several years.
Yeah,
we've started getting customers that were in our test and evaluation program converted into starting to order commercial product for us.
Okay.
So we've got really a lot of big things that have happened here since the last quarter, and really driving that customer engagement to get through that long process of evaluation and adoption.
So you've got great partnerships that you kind of mentioned and talked about there. Any insights on the revenue growth that you're seeing?
Yeah, the revenue that we really are focusing this year, it's really development revenue where we're either being funded by some of these customers to do things specifically for them, or there's small volume orders as they start to look at using our products for some mock-ups of their own applications. We expect that to start to ramp as we get into 2025. So, we've got really large companies that we're working with across a variety of segments or names of companies that people would recognize. And although we've been able to name Stellantis, we hope to be able to name more as we go along here and get designed into some of the products and these big companies are working on.
Now, I think you briefly touched on this, but I wanted to see if you had any more insights about the third global automaker announcement that you just kind of mentioned. Why is that kind of important in the sense of to your bottom line, to the revenue growth? How is that going to help take this company to the next level here in, say, at the end of 2024 or 2025?
If you look at the auto segment, whether it's a hybrid vehicle or electric vehicle, they need an enormous amount of power semiconductors. And they're really trying to tackle their two big issues, which is electric vehicles are too high in cost and there's a lot of range anxiety that's keeping people from buying them. Our technology directly addresses both of those. So the more automakers we work with, the longer, the bigger opportunity we have in the long term here, because they drive huge volumes in terms of what they're going to need for their generational platforms here for electric vehicles.
And then the second distributor agreement, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we actually signed one agreement with a company called Richardson Electronics earlier this year, who is a great distributor, but we needed someone also that had strong technical sales and strong customer base in Asia. So Ryosho is part of Ryoden Corporation. They're a publicly listed company over on the Tokyo Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
And they really are a great company for bringing new semiconductor technology to a customer base that we as a small U.S. company would have a hard time reaching on our own.
And then I think it was the phase 2 that you completed. What's the next step there and the process going forward?
Yeah, with Stellantis, we've actually successfully completed the first 2 stages. We're looking to get into the 3rd stage, which is really where they bring the tier 1 suppliers in. They have gone out to about a half a dozen tier 1 suppliers who are going to design and provide the drivetrain inverter for the next generation of EV platforms that will incorporate our technology. Their proposals have been submitted to Stellantis. So as they get through that evaluation process, then we'll start to work directly with them. And we'll start to actually see our technology put into the drivetrain inverter and tested.
All right. And then so is there a timeline on that, by the way? I know you say you're getting started, you're going to. Is there like a timeline of finish, I guess?
Well, the objective for the power module that incorporates our technology is to have something that's production ready for 2025. What we do see is Stellantis is kind of slow in their decision-making process, as you would expect for a really big company that's been through mergers and reorganizations.
Yeah.
But they're clearly committed to their next generation EV platform, and we're excited to be part of what they're doing.
And then speaking of excitement, is there anything else that folks should be familiar with in terms of what's coming down the pipeline? Any catalysts that they should be aware of for, say, the next 6 months to 18 months?
Yeah, we'll be adding additional distributors for our products. We're going to be having our first sales of our SimCool IQ, which is an intelligent power module. It's a module that incorporates some controls into it. We're going to be converting some of the large OEMs that we're working with in our test and evaluation program into design wins. So really focusing on that next step in commercialization to actually start to drive the product demand and revenue that we're going to be implementing here over the next couple of years.
Are there any challenges that you kind of see coming up, especially with the election year? I always say this and preface it with, here at Benzinga as a company, we don't really care who wins. It's more about informing our viewers of policies and things that might impact companies. Are you concerned or, thinking about any regulations that might come down or any tailwinds that might help out the company as well?
What we really see is there's 2 tailwinds that are really driving our technology, and that is the adoption of electric vehicles, which is clearly not going to slow down. I think the focus is really becoming now on how do you make them more affordable and deal with the range issue, and the adoption of renewable energy, because we help make renewable energy more affordable and more efficient also. Those are global macro trends that aren't going to change. So we think we're bringing out a technology that can improve a broad variety of these applications at the right time, regardless of what happens politically.
Yeah, I appreciate the insights. Is there anything else that I'm missing? Anything else you want to talk about? Any topics I didn't get a chance to bring up? The floor is kind of yours.
Yeah, just, I think if people want to learn more about the company, go take a look at idealpower.com. You can learn about the company and the products. We've got a lot of exciting things that we've got in the pipeline here on the industrial side with people working on solid state circuit breakers, and continue to work on the electric vehicle side as the companies focus on the next generation. So I think we're going to have a lot of interesting things coming out here over the next year or so.
All right, you got it. The website is in the chat. Dan, thank you so much. I appreciate your insights here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You bet. That is Dan Bernard, who is a president and CEO of Ideal Power. Ticker on the NASDAQ is IPWR. You've got the link in the chat as well if you'd like to check out more of their story. And I think, as we continue in this energy focus, whether it's because of Bitcoin, whether it's because of EV, whether it's because of AI data centers, I think it's in play. And, as always, you've got some insights here. Do your due diligence and see what's worth investing your hard-earned money in. But this is definitely a space that I know I'm talking to my nephews and nieces about kind of having in their portfolio for the long term as well. All right, Ryan, give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready, pal. We'll bring you right back up. What is going on? Oh, come on, man. You're a pro. You can't be on mute.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry about that. I was on mute because being a pro means I didn't want to disrupt your excellent interview with Dan there. I think you did a great job. Full disclosure here, I love Ideal Power.
What do you like about it, if I may ask? Put you on the spot. This wasn't rehearsed. Putting you on the spot. What do you like?
Well, a lot of what he just said, I think this is going to be incredibly disruptive. And I think that this, when I first heard about this, the thought here was this is going to kind of be like an EV play. The more I dug into it, the more I realized how many other areas this can actually affect. You see in the chat here, this is actually a really good description here. Massive partners, Stellantis and other top automakers, plus major power management companies. To me, that seems awesome. Think of Eaton, Emerson, ABB et al. When you think of top power management players, designing iPower's tech into new components. I'm really big, like my whole thing is story trading. Like that's one of like the things that I spend the most time on. Really awesome companies that can really kind of disrupt the technology. This one kind of fits the bill. So this is one I've been long on for a couple of years. Excited to hear what Dan had to say here this morning.
All right. Well, we appreciate the insights, Dan. Thank you once again. I see Anne-Marie in the back. Anne-Marie, you can give us a thumbs up whenever you're ready. What if we said that and someone just gave us a thumbs down?
What if they gave you the middle finger instead? That would really.
Anne-Marie would never.
No, of course not Anne-Marie. I mean, come
never.
on. But I'm just saying if anyone.
Like, that's got to be AI generated, if anything. You know, like I would just be like, nah, that's fake. That's fake news. I become like Trump, be like fake. Nope, not it. But man, all right. Hey, best of luck. Rest of the show. I'll be back at
you got Option Sandy coming up, don't you?
Yeah, I'll be back at 11:30 to help produce that. The floor is yours, my friend.
All right. Awesome. Anne-Marie did give the thumbs up. Zunaid just, for whatever reason, just ignored her and didn't bring her on. So I'll go ahead and do it. Anne-Marie,
I was looking for the middle finger, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. That's
my eyesight was scanning the wrong algo. You know. All right. Have fun, guys.
We always do. Thanks, Zunaid. And look, Zunaid and I, we got a good relationship. I like to joke with him. He likes to give it right back, and that's why it works. Zunaid, we much appreciate that. Anne-Marie, thanks for joining us here today. Love starting off the show with a laugh. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm here today in very sunny and lovely St. Petersburg, Florida. Got up and drove early in the day from very South Florida up here to visit with my daughter. So, yeah.
Awesome. It sounds like the weekend is about to start here. Before we head off into the weekend, we got some option plays we can go over here. Let's do it.
So we have Target, and Target is going to be releasing earnings on the 21st. And we're looking at the weekly chart. So as always, a couple of things that we look at. You know, my goal coming on here with Ryan is to have those of us who are part of the Benzinga Pro platform, as well as folks who just cling to all this great information that comes over the Benzinga airwaves to enhance learning. That's what I want to do here. So we are continuing to use the ATR on a weekly format combined with what the market makers are pricing in to see if we can find ourselves a good position. Now, this is ideal in the current environment because the VVIX is still over 100, but you could see it fading. As long as it sits above this zone, we have an idea that options, particularly after earnings, are going to have some range expansion events. So that's something that you put on, say, hey, listen, am I checking the VVIX? Is it elevated? If it is, then irrespective of where VIX is, which is way back down below 20 again, way down at 15, the volatility of the VIX, which is the VVIX, is continuing to rise. And so we keep our eyes on that. And that certainly makes sense as we come into the Fed meeting and all kinds of other things that might be in the space. All right. So enough yammering there. We have Target, and these guys usually have high implied volatilities. If you notice over the last several earnings, we've had moves that were, anywhere from $15 to $25. And the option chains are suggesting somewhere right in there. So they report on the 21st. This is the 23rd. It's got higher implied probability because of the uncertainty. Market hates uncertainty, and the way that they price uncertainty is by adding a volatility measure that makes options more expensive. And so let's see what they're pricing into the options at this time. The way to tell what a market maker is doing, notice the market makers have not put up what they are doing currently. We can know it ahead of time by taking an at-the-money call and the straddle, which means we look at the call and the put at the same time, and we add them together. This gives us about $12. I'll round it up just a little bit. So they're pricing in a $12 move into the earnings. Now, back to the chart. The weekly implied volatility is currently $9.10. So the option traders are saying, hey, ATR is rounded about 9, so we're going to juice it just a little bit more because we're coming into that earnings, and they are pricing in 13. Now, we also know from my prior commentary that Target over the last 4 earnings sessions have moved at least $15 the week of the earnings event. And so what I've done is I've gone out $13 here from this current strike, and I've put the 130 as the edge of the space. I've put 125 because that sits outside of the normal variation during the week of the formation that earnings come in. And so the sweet spot would be 25, but really 130 is what we're shooting after. So you want to put an alert at 130 and 125 into this earnings space. Okay, now this is only 7 days of holding from now, since today is, what is today?
Friday the 16th?
Yeah, there we go. And so you might be saying, I would like to have just a little bit more room on that. So we will look at that shortly. Up here, we do the 152.50. Again, a little bit more than $10. And that $15 marker would be our middle strike. Notice that's why I'm giving it a $5 strike zone, because I'm pricing in all the average moves that we can possibly get. So these middle strikes become the outliers of the formation. You can see that together we'll spend about $80. Okay. Now, if we're staring that down and we go, I don't want to do that. I want to go further out. I want to give the chart a little bit more time. I want to pay less in volatility. I want to go out a couple of weeks to let the chart do its thing. And instead, I want to give it 2 weeks of expiry, right? It still ends up being about $80. But if the move continues, we're more likely to have an expansion in our profit margin. So we're risking $80 to make $420. And that's what we're staring down. If, per happenstance, you say, I still want to go out a little further, maybe I go out and I give it, I don't know how many days that would be, maybe 28 days. I go out to the 13th of September. Then you clearly want to look at that middle strike. Those are the alerts that you want to put in. And now instead of $80, we spend $70 with the upshot of around at about the same amount. The time here is actually a fairly good benefit if it runs really hard and then just sort of stalls out. It's going to give you time for that option to really grow in value. Remember, the one thing you don't want to do is as soon as the earnings come out and the market opens, do not immediately close the position.
Oh, yeah.
You want to give the price action 30 to 45 minutes to stabilize. And so then the option pricing stabilizes. All right. So that's the one that I have. Another one that's got very high implied volatility that might be worth a look at is Agilent, right?
While you're pulling that up, can I shout you out real quick?
Sure.
I'm going to shout you out here real quick. I love seeing stuff like this, so we're going to go ahead and read it. My oldest kid is a national swimmer looking to swim Ivy League. Anne-Marie has grown his college fund nicely for us this summer. Cannot say enough good things about this woman. We'll take that all the time, Amanda. I really appreciate that. It's one of the reasons we bring Anne-Marie on here. Anne-Marie, thanks again for all that you do here. We really, really appreciate some of this stuff.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you very, very much. And thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate that. Oh, see all the, I don't know if you can see it, all the hairs on my arm standing right up. That's just a, yeah,
this
that's
is
a
why
good thing.
this is why we're always talking about joining pro, because Anne-Marie does this in the chat room every single day. One more thing just to kind of cover up here real quick. Anne-Marie, I have the expected move at 1240, not 15 for next week. I think what you were saying there, Anne-Marie, is you add the two prices together. Jay, I believe if you take that 15 and multiply it by 80 or 0.8, 80%, doesn't that give you 12? Pretty sure.
Okay, so the reason I for next week, you can do it a couple of different ways. You can add the 144 straight across, and that gives you $12. What I am doing, you are correct. It is 1240. Here's the rub. When we look at the past moves of earnings over the last 4 earnings events, we've had a minimum of a $15 move and a maximum of almost $30. So I'm going on the low end of that. So yes, you are correct, but I'm not just using what the market makers are doing, because sometimes the market makers can get smacked in the face pretty hard. What I'm using is the combination of ATR, what the market makers are doing, and the moves of the last 4 options expiration to bring an amalgam of information that gives me this motion. But yes, you are adding that correctly. It's just not the only thing I'm doing.
Okay, awesome. There you go.
Okay.
What else do we have here? Sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack you there. I know you were queuing up another one here.
Yeah. So we've got Agilent. Agilent has got very high implied volatility, particularly over the last 4 earnings events. The ATR is also 8, but you can see, take a look at this. This one is $26 wide. This one is $10 wide. This one is $15 wide, thereabouts. This one is $9 wide. Okay, so we're looking at a minimum of 9 all the way to 15. Here's the rub. We can't do butterflies here. Why, Anne-Marie? Well, because the chains are garbage. But what you can do, sorry.
I love it. No, I love it. I love it. I love the bluntness.
Yeah. So what you can do is sell a spread in the direction of motion. It's only going to give you a little bit, but my suspicion is if you stay out of the way, right? The delta here is 14, right? So that's plenty low. And I went $15 out. So that's If we did 10, that 50 is a kind of a big fat round number, but we could use it. And we get $1.32. The delta is skewed slightly negative, but this is an opportunity for an iron condor that might even have trouble getting placed, to be honest, because the volume is so low. But when I was doing a scan last night, it literally was the only thing showing up that said, hey, listen, I've got good implied volatility for the chains. Does anybody else want to look at anything?
I'm sure. So let's throw that out there to the group, folks. Is there any stock that you want Anne Marie to cover? We've got plenty of time for another one here. Actually, we might, depending on how you do here. Excuse me, you might have time for two more. But Austin is asking a question here. How do you deal with low open interest on these plays? You just pass on them, or how do you handle that?
Okay, so that's a really good question. When you see low open interest, what you're going to see is a wide bid-ask spread. So the question then becomes, what's the expectation of an outsized move? And so I tend to stay away from the ones who have very low open interest, unless it's just absolutely begging me to trade it, like Eli Lilly, right?
Mm-hmm,
They'll have low open interest sometimes, but they're just so lovely, you just can't help yourself, or at least I can't help myself. So that's how I would. That's what I would say right there. Okay. It's tough. Usually I leave them alone, but if you can see some obvious price action that might give you exactly what you're looking for, then I would say stay away from them.
Okay. Really good stuff there. As far as tickers suggested here, we have a couple. Sid did say CMG, but I know we just did one on those recently, right? Sid, I'm sorry. Let's do something else. I think on Tuesday we actually just did one for CMG. So let's pass on that temporarily. Amanda is looking for a credit spread on NVIDIA. Jay Rice mentioning Pan W has earnings on Monday. So what about a pre-Palo Alto network trade?
Fantastic. All right. So let's look for the credit spread in NVIDIA. The question for Amanda might be, do you want it into earnings or do you want it post earnings? Now, I do have an earnings trade here. We actually just put this on Tuesday when we were all together, I believe. We also did the NVIDIA earnings trade. Yeah. So, you might look at the 90-80 put spread, or you might look at the, it's moved so far, so much. That one's tough. I definitely would not do a short call spread, but if you did a short put spread and it behaved the way, SMCI behaved, then that wouldn't be great. So
Amanda did say a post earnings play would be better.
Perfect. All right. So how about we wait until Tuesday and talk about that? Well, Tuesday wouldn't even give it to us. So when would that, is that next week, Friday or something? Let's put that on the back burner because this will really rotate around depending on how earnings looks.
So earnings, I believe, is the 28th, which is Wednesday, not next Wednesday, but a week from Wednesday.
Yes, a week from Wednesday. So
so we will put, Amanda, we'll put that on the back burner. We'll come back to that. Do me a favor. Remind me if I go all goldfish memory and forget. Remind me on that real quick. But let's do Pan W. This is I love this stock. I love that Jay brought this up. We had someone trading this earlier today. This is perfect.
All right. So let's take a look at Palo Alto. They've been very aggressive. This savage move down was a real surprise. I can't remember the nature of that earnings call that put them in that space, but you can see immediately buyers began to try to hold the floor, right? And so here we are, upward trend, up over the monthly, earnings coming on the 19th, which should be Monday or Tuesday or something like that. What is that? Monday,
Yep.
Tuesday?
Yep. Sorry, I never have this ready for.
Yeah.
I really should.
No worries. No worries. So let's take a look at this. This is a great chart. Look, the ATR is 23, right? And the last earnings, we had this one peak to trough, $25. This one peak to trough, $110.
Yeah, 109.20.
Yeah, peak to trough. What is that one?
$30.
$30, and then $20. Okay, so we're looking at a minimum of 20.
And by the way, those earnings are confirmed for after hours Monday. Sorry about the late follow-up.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So after hours Monday, a couple of different ways we can do that. We've got this one, minimum of $20, right? And so let's just price out the minimums and let's divide that maximum in half, right? So $20, minimum 20, maximum 40. Let's just hope they don't do anything bananas again. So $20 would be 310 to 300 to 290. It's $1.18, a little expensive. $20, 350, 250. Oops, can't do that one. Let's do 355. Oopsie. I have to move this up since I made it larger. Hang on. For goodness sakes.
Yeah,
always
that
operator
thing.
error.
Yeah, that I don't. That happens to me all the time. Actually, I don't think that is
All right.
you.
355, 365, 375. Okay. So if we do it with only 1 week for it to actually move, we're giving it a maximum of a $30 move for the 300 put.
Right.
And we're giving it a maximum of $32 on the call side. And we're using August 23rd as the expiration. So that gives you a whole week for things to sort of settle out. Remember, with butterflies, if it does nothing, our goose is cooked, especially if we just have 7 days to expiration. And so if we decide, hey, listen, let's give it a little room. Let's go out to the 13th. Oh, the 13th would be a credit. What do you know? Okay, so we might be able to get this for a penny on the put side, but it's jockeying all over the place. So
now, is this an example of when you would throw that order in and see if it gets filled?
exactly.
And I put in a stink bid in there.
Yes, I love the name. Stink bid is perfect.
That's
right. Yeah. So yeah, that
I
gives
do my
us,
best.
yeah, I love that one. Yeah, that gives us about 28 days. And we have spent $120 with upside of $880 for this particular one. It should move. The last time it did not move, well, you could say that, but it had almost a $20 move, but it ended right in the space. So you want to set alerts at these strikes. If I were sitting down in this trade today, I would say put an alert on 310 and an alert on 300. See how much you've got in terms of profit, and then go from there. All right. Decide because the moment it starts moving over the middle strike, your option starts to lose real money power. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be good. It's just going to not be at the maximum profit. So here's what I mean. Let's go to the risk profile. You can see that it's got 2 peaks, right? And so once you start getting into that 360 area, you're looking at, $400 per option when, you're paying 58 cents for it. So those are the good places that you want to look. If, the stars align, it's going to come right into 300 or that 365 area. But your goal is to get it on the way up here or just past here, but not on the way down. You don't want to see price accelerate dramatically to that upside. All right, let's pick another one.
Yeah, let's see. AMAT. Austin was asking for AMAT.
Okay, so applied materials.
And I believe we just had those, right?
Yes, those earnings just came out.
Yep. So we're doing a post EPS play here with that.
All right. So let's go back to the charts. When did this come out?
Yesterday. This was yesterday in the afternoon, right after the close yesterday.
All right. So this looks like a recovery move, right? It's got a spike here because of this massive fade, right? So these guys are also in the chip space, are they not?
Yes.
Okay. So that might be something very interesting for us to watch in terms of, how NVIDIA and all the others behave. But let's take a look. It's got an average ATR until about 5 weeks ago. The average ATR is 13 to 14. Now it's all the way up at 20. So the question is, does it hold its move or does it collapse? Again, because I think we're in a higher volatility environment, I would say let's take a look at a $20 move over the next month to see what happens, right? So we would have 180 to 175 to 170. That gives us 70 cents. And then 220 to 230 to 240, right? So we're looking at about $1. Whoops, is that right? Yeah, we can't go in single digits. So if it moves up, this is going to be a very pretty trade. If we want to make the put and the call size the same width, both being $10, then I would say, hey, here's 180 and 190, 180, and 170, right? That's about almost $2 for $200 for $800, right? So 1 to 4, pulling us up over September to give us a $20 move. The goal is, could it come, in the next 10 days? If it comes in the next 10 days, you might be able to double your money. If it comes in the next 20 days, you might be able to triple your money. Now, why is that? Because the further away a butterfly is from its expiration, the less sensitive it is to price action. That's just a natural thing. And if we're looking at the chart and we're saying, all right, I just priced in $20, right? My sweet spot would be the middle strike, $20 away. That's why it's $1. If you say to yourself, well, Anne-Marie, I think it moves more than that. Well, that's going to make this cheaper, but it's also going to reduce the probability, right? Because everything moves against it. So let's say it holds this $20 ATR. That gives us plenty of time to go, all right, let's go see if we can test this 220 resistance area. Is that a natural zone? Absolutely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of dancing around 220. Absolutely a shot for us. Absolutely a shot.
Okay.
So, and going down here to the 190, look, support, 1, 2, 3 weeks,
Yep.
1, 2, 3 weeks. So the ATR and the spread and the chains are all telling us that we've got a good strike zone right there for the post earnings move.
The stars are aligning. I love it. I love when data points align for a trade. It's my favorite.
Right? It's always nice. It's always nice. All right. I expect that next week we have a ton of volatility overall, right? We've got the Fed speaking, correct?
I let me check the calendar. Sorry. So I should have all
I
stuff ready
should know that.
When we come on here.
I should know that.
I can get you all of the econ events for next week.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and do that. Yes, we've got, so on the 20th, we've got Bostic speaking. We have a whole bunch of speakers. 22nd, we have the meeting minutes. So yeah, there's Fed. There's multiple days with Fed stuff next week.
Yeah.
Jackson Hole is coming. That's right, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was thinking. We've got the big FOMC meeting.
Yeah.
And it could be a nothing burger, although it could be something fairly big in general. And so my thought is that price action should sit between the range of 520 to 560. Okay. So I'm going to use that 565 as my middle strike for us to break to that high. But this is if you're saying, you know, I've got these chains that I can trade that might give me until, you know, the end of the 28th is that following Wednesday, right? Tuesday. This would be Monday, Wednesday, and that's Friday. Okay, let's look at the 26th.
Okay.
All right. And if we think to ourselves, what's going on with the broad market? Now, this is 10 days away. Our charts are currently showing $15 a week on a move. And so if we look at $15 here, what is that? 138, 538, right? So we have 538, 68 cents, and $15 to the downside is 67 up, 65. What this is an unbounded strangle. Okay. So very rarely do I talk about long unbounded things. One, I'm a serial option seller. I prefer selling options to buying them. I can't help myself. And two, because of this, I tend also to not carry in size. That being said, what's happened, I want you to take a look at this. Let's just take a look at this 65 call, and let's draw a chart on it. I want to show you something. More info. Toss chart. Oh, where did it go? Come on. It's supposed to be right here. Oh, for heaven's sakes. All right, it's not doing that. It's not doing that for us anymore. Let's try that again. 565. Toss chart. Yes. Aha. Okay.
There you go.
Now take a look at what's happened to this option. Over the last several days, last couple of days, right? This is last this is yesterday. And then these are the days before, which I don't have them anymore. Sorry about that. This option was 15 cents. Yesterday, when price action was gangbusters, it went all the way to 75 cents. So that's a 600% plus return on this option. So if you're thinking to yourself, I don't know, just consider how much volatility has been sitting in the SPY lately and what could potentially happen to these puts if we buy them today and then the market begins to crater Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. These things are going to explode in value. Yeah. Here's the rub. They can also fall into the basement. And so the key thing to do is say, all right, if I spend $100 here and I end up making 400, good on you. Let's look for another one next week.
Yeah.
If not, and you lose that, you go, all right, well, I'll just get $25 back. That happens in this kind of game. But when it moves,
boy, does it ever.
Yeah. Big.
Okay. Really good stuff, Anne-Marie. Thanks again. I know we're a couple minutes over, so Zunaid, if you're ready, definitely pop on. No, it's okay.
No worries.
I had to let you finish. Yeah, I absolutely had to let you finish there. So.
Always. Appreciate you, Anne-Marie. Any fun plans for the weekend before you go?
Any fun plans? No fun.
No fun. Okay.
She's going to be digging in the charts.
I appreciate it.
I can't even believe you asked that. She's going to be looking at charts.
Ryan, is that
that's always fun.
There you go. See, there you go. Awesome. Anne-Marie, thank you so much. Ryan Powell, we will see you on Monday.
Have a great one. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
All righty. See ya. And we will now continue the options action. We will now go ahead and bring in, I'm looking at it because I'm trying to find the banner itself, but options with Sandy. Sandy, give me a thumbs up. All righty. Good morning. I have to check my
Good morning.
How are you?
Today?
Good. Markets are kind of, everyone thought it was doomsday just a couple of Mondays ago. And now we're like, I'm buying calls. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of excitement there. Before I play the intro, give us a little tease of the tickers that you might be covering here today.
I think we're going to go over BABA and NVIDIA and also talk about an indice that a lot of people don't know about, XSP, and how we could utilize that as utilizing butterflies or ironflies as an example to create some zero DTE income.
Awesome. All righty. Well, here you go. Here's options trading made simple with Sandy.
Welcome back, traders. This is Sandra with Trading Made Simple. I'm here to show you short-term proven strategies. People think trading is a one-size-fit-all market. It's not. We live trade and train daily. Let's talk trading.
Happy Friday. Hope everyone's doing well. All right. Zunaid was talking about just last week, everybody was thinking doomsday. And I don't know if you guys remember us really kind of diving deep into SPX and SPY and talking about how we were in this correction. And really when we're moving out of a correction, there's a time period between 5 and 10 days that you're really wanting to know, is this drop done? And so we were waiting for a lot of not only volume to come in, but also for price to create a recovery. And we actually did. Look at this V-shaped recovery. Now, where are we at right now? This is like a big decision point. So if you're not familiar, this pattern right here is basically a double top, right? We did a V-shaped recovery. We are above the 20, which was constructive. If you guys will watch that, typically speaking, and it doesn't matter what chart time frame that you're on, if we're above the 20 EMA on any time frame and we have momentum, you can use any momentum indicator that you would like. CCI is probably the most comparison of this one. And if we're above the 0 line, then you pretty much are starting to see a trend change. So if you were watching that, you could see that this day right here, we're lying on top of the 20. But the next following day, we open up and we're away from that 20. And that's your confirmation candle. So whether you're on a 5-minute chart, a 15, a 1 hour, a lot of people hate fake outs. And wherever you're at on your chart, if there's support or resistance, it's going to be a fake out zone. And if you can just, depending on what time frame you're looking on, if you can just wait for a confirmation candle is what I call it. So if you're doing a day trade as an example, and you're waiting to see, hey, look, is this going to be bullish? All we have to do is wait for a confirmation candle outside of this zone. And you can see, as an example, on SPY on a 5-minute, looking like at a day trade, you could see that these 3 candles just laying on top of the 20. And all you have to do is just wait for the perfect setup. And that is a candle, a 5-minute candle, opening up away from this zone, and then watching it to see, does it close above this zone and not touch it, not lay on it, not touch it. And if the answer is yes, then you know what you've just done is you've just taken away probably a good 60% of the time that you experience a fake out. So it really does just give you some high probability setups. If you can wait for the closing candle to see if you are away from that 20 EMA, is momentum above the 0 line? If both answers yes, and you have a confirmation candle that is away from that zone, you're good to go. And so if we look at a day chart, it's the same thesis. Time is fragmented. And so when you use your chart, you use it the same on every single time frame, and it'll help you really see the trends. So we did have a trend change, but now we're at another decision point. And that decision point is because we're at a double top. Where else are we? Well, you see this channel right here. By the way, if you go to my YouTube channel, this indicator is called Trend Pivot. And if you type in Trend Pivot on the search bar on my channel, and it's Trading Made Simple with Sandra, you'll be able to get this indicator free. It's not one that's in Thinkorswim automatically. And so it's a really nice indicator because it draws your trend lines for you on every time frame. So now if you can see, we are sitting right on this decision point. Not only are we at a double top from this day, which is August 1st, but we're laying on a fake out zone, right? So we may consolidate here as it's slowly rising until it figures out, is this going to act as resistance and fall? Or are we going to break above that support line? So we really need a confirmation day outside of this line, right? For us to identify, ooh, we're back in our trading range zone to go further up and utilize this as your trading range on a day chart. The other thing I like to use is this weekly expected move. This weekly expected move just tampers down my expectations. You know, when we're getting into a long call and a long put and you enter it and it says, you know, your risk is whatever, let's say $110, but your reward is infinite. Well, if you can tamp down your expectations, you'll be smarter about taking profit off the table. When you start seeing that you're, you know, butting your head up against resistance, you may want to use that resistance as a target to remove your profits. That, you know, infinite expectation of profit leads people to hold the bag and lose money. So it really is about taking your money off the table. So just a great recap of what we went through last week, how the chart actually worked itself out. We're actually looking bullish here. However, we're at a double top. We're also on a fake out zone. This still could be acting as resistance. So really looking now for next week, what's our expected move? Now, depending on where we actually close today, we'll then identify our point of control. So if we open up as an example, next week above where we close today, then we have momentum on our side to continue to the higher end of that weekly expected move. And that would be 560.09. And if we end up opening and closing, because this is a day chart, we're always looking for a closing candle. If we close below today's close, then we have an opportunity to come visit this lower end here, 545. Now, do you think after this V-shaped recovery here, do you think we're expecting somewhat of a pullback? I would say so. You know, the market ebbs and flows, and we've done a great job. This reminds me of like a COVID bounce back, doesn't it? This reminds me of that. I mean, talk about a steep uphill. And so you could see right now on a day chart, we're kind of you know, coming right back down, but still momentum is strong. So I could see us maybe chop around for a while. And that's why I wanted to talk to you guys today about maybe a butterfly or an iron butterfly. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but we're going to talk about that later on. But this was a good example. Now, when I left you guys on Friday, we were actually automating TSM. And we were actually looking for TSM to either break above, or this was going to be a fake out zone. We were waiting for a confirmation up, and we actually got it, and we hit our weekly expected move, which is right here. And now we're falling back down. Now, by the way, 68% of the time, we actually close within this weekly expected move. So today is Friday. So it'll be interesting to see if we end up closing within or if we break out. Very bullish if we end up breaking out of this zone. So the deal was we ended up doing just a easy template, 20% profit, 20% loss on Friday. Here it was. We ended up actually, because this is a fake out zone on the daily chart. Let me go to a smaller time frame here. Let's do a 15. So last Friday, we ended up, let's see, is that Friday? Let me take a look at an hourly. That's probably easier. Here it is right here. So here was Friday, and really what we did was nothing. We chopped around. So I think I did a put on live here with you guys, and it was bouncing around and chopping. It hit my 20% stop loss, and I was out of it. Look what ends up happening on Monday, right? The gap down. That's what we needed for that. But unfortunately, that chop, it happens. You automate a trade, it hits a trigger point, chops around, and it gets you out. But it ended up actually going down because we were saying that TSM was looking bearish to me, and it ended up on Monday going down. What did that mean for automation purposes? Well, it really meant that I needed either a larger stop loss, or I could have used a debit spread. Now, a put debit spread would have allowed me, because 20% on a put debit spread is very, very different from 20% on a long put. So unfortunately, that would have been the vehicle. And oftentimes we utilize that vehicle. And again, here's another example of, wow, if we could have held through, we could have closed it out on Monday, and at the open, of course. And that would have been a better scenario, because it actually opened up down here and then closed right up here on this hourly chart. So let's take a look at an indice today that's called XSP. Now, this is actually representative of, it's just a mini SPX index. And what's great about this is that you can, it's cash settled, right? So SPX, NASDAQ, these are cash settled. So sometimes it's really nice to be able to put on a trade and just have it cash settled, because you're looking for it to just expire, and it'll, if you profit from it, it'll go into your account. This is great if you don't like to automate your trades, or you don't know how to, right? So you can put on something like a butterfly. So I was looking at the range and how we've been kind of just going sideways for the last couple of days. This is to be expected when we make a pretty big move. And you can see on an hourly chart, we kind of went sideways for a while until we kind of, went up, and now we're going sideways again. So this is the type of trade that what I like about XSP is that the pricing is very similar to SPY. And so you can really, kind of move to a smaller time frame and then look at maybe what the range is, and then decide, do you want to put in something like a butterfly if you think this little area is going to hold? And you can actually do like a 555. You can see where we're consolidating. This is called Darvis. And you know what? If you go into your studies, Thinkorswim does have a Darvis indicator. And what Darvis represents is consolidation. So if you're one of those traders that are always caught up in chop and you're just unable to identify chop, well, there are two ways that you can actually see this, and it will help you. One is an oscillator, and it's called ADX. And on my chart, I've created basically an indicator that allows me to just, have more real estate on my chart to see, oh, ADX is non-trending. And what does that mean? It means that, there's not enough audience to really make price movement go in either direction, whether it be bullish or bearish. So it doesn't tell you the trend. It just lets you know if there's a big enough audience in there where it's worth trading on a 15-minute chart, because that's the chart that I'm on. If I'm trading on a 5-minute, as an example, for a day trade, you could see how Darvis now all of a sudden is much wider, because this is the trading range on a 5-minute chart. So it really can help you identify either a breakout or a breakdown from consolidation. Now, that's really, visually speaking, a very huge tool. I love this tool. It could really help you when you're trading on all time frames. Because what else could you do as an example? A lot of people recognize that 15-minute charts as well as 1-hour charts. You could utilize this tool for automation as well. If we were in this zone, as an example, on XSP, and we said, okay, if it breaks above 546.80, let's just round up, I'm in a long call on XSP. If it breaks below 544.39, then I'm in a put. And you can actually just identify this as trigger levels to utilize for automation. And you could see where, it's basically telling you for the last 2 days, it's kind of been in this zone. And on an hourly chart, yesterday's trading range, it was just going completely sideways. Nothing was happening with this. Of course, this represents SPY. So this is great. So you can utilize this to do the same thing as just have your automations in check and see where you're going. All right. So what I was thinking about doing was looking at XSP and saying, you know what? We've been in this trading range basically all morning. Could we create like a butterfly, a cash settled butterfly for this? So let's go ahead and put this on. Now, a butterfly you can use for either a bullish trade or a bearish trade. Now, the interesting thing about a butterfly is that it's great for theta, but you really need that time to work it out. So you're not going to capture any of your profits until right at the end of the day, especially if this is a 0 DTE. So you're going to see it fluctuating all day, but you're going to capture your profits at the end of the day. Do you need to watch it? Not on XSP, because it's cash settled, so you don't have to worry about anybody, exercising, right? You don't have to worry about that, and depending on where it actually closes. So you can make a neutral butterfly and say, okay, the high here is 555. This is where my little Darvis resistance is. I'm going to just round up. And you could see that the lower end is about 552. So if we go to our trade tab here and we are looking at a butterfly, and you could see all the different types of options, strategies that you could utilize. So if we just go down right here to a butterfly, and this is risk defined, everything that we do is risk defined. And you start looking at that range and saying, hey, look, 555 was my top end. Let's go ahead and create this. Now, a butterfly, it doesn't matter whether you're on the call side or the put side. it's the same exact trade. So it doesn't matter if you get the put or the call, because it's the same exact trade. So the pricing and everything is going to be exactly the same. So if we just click on this one, just so we're going to manipulate it so that it works out for us. If 55 is on the high side, we saw on the chart, and we said that 52 is on the low side. So what happens if we just make this 50, 55? Let's see how much we can price this out. And then what's in the middle, right, of that? Of 52.50. Wow, perfect. It says it's not traded. Okay, so we'll just change this to what, 53? This makes it a little unbalanced. Let's do, how about, let's see, 146. 146 to make 154 if it closes and pins right in the middle. Let's take a look at this and see how it looks on our analyze graph so we can visualize. So yeah, it is unbalanced. So what I'd like to do is make this a little bit more balanced. So let's see here. If I come back here and I say, let's see, 50, 55, let's make this 54. And then make the middle 52, that should make it more balanced. There you go. So now we have a balanced fly. And you could see that if we pin it, we can make about $50. That's actually terrible risk versus reward on this. So let me just open that up. That looks a little bit better. I didn't have the pricing down correctly. Open this lockup. Now you can see that it's going to cost us $35. $35 to make $165 if we pin it in the middle. If it stays kind of outside that zone, you're going to lose $35. And what are we looking for? Let's take a look at that chart again. It's going on the high side. If you buy it, this is an interesting tidbit. If price is on the higher end, and you buy this butterfly, this neutral butterfly, you end up getting a really cheap price for it because it's completely on one side of the wing, right? So the higher that it gets to 554, our high side, then the cheaper this butterfly becomes. And so what you can do, of course, you can automate this, but what you can do is just wait for price to get a little higher and say, hey, I actually think it's going to fall back right back down to the area right here. So I actually like this a lot. So let me take a look at that on my analyze graph again. And let's see, we have 50 to 54. If we make this a little wider because it's so cheap. So we got 50, 50. Let's make this 53. Now we're just adjusting it based on visual. That's still unbalanced. So you got 50, let's do 52. It's too bad. The balancing of 554 just makes it a nice balanced fly. But you could see where price is right now. So price is at the higher end. And we're saying we want this to actually come back around the 52 level. Let me take a look at my chart again. I actually like 53 better, so I'm gonna analyze it again, and I want to make this a little wider. So let's see, 56. Make this 53. Nice. So now we're on the higher end of the butterfly here, and I'm saying, hey, look, I think it's going to close a little lower because we've been shopping around. And this is kind of the midpoint of our consolidation. And so it's going to cost us, what is this going to cost? $1.06 right now. It's because we made it wider. It's going to cost us $1.06. But if we close anywhere inside this butterfly, we're going to make money. If we close like closer to the middle point of this pyramid here, we're going to make $180. So it's not a bad risk versus reward. We could do this on XSP because this is cash settled. So I like this, and I'm going to do a couple of these. Let's see, confirm and send. I'm going to do, let me edit that and do a couple of these. And really what I like to do on these is, all right, I just got that in there. I got it filled. What I really like to do on these is that when I come into some profit, I start to trim it. And so I'm basically just taking the cost of the butterfly kind of out of it. And then leave maybe one or two runners on so that if it does pin, it's going to make some decent money out of it. But it's a very inexpensive way to get into a cash settled index that's pretty much priced like SPY. So, any questions with that? I hope that that was. We are looking bullish, but I'm looking for it to come down around the 553, 554 area and close over here today. Now it is early, but we're going to see. We've been kind of in a range today. Maybe we'll continue. And if not, by the way, you can always just close it out. If you start to see that we're grinding up and we keep pumping, you can close that out and take a small loss. You don't have to stay in the trade. Just remember that. And so, gosh, I hope that this was a good explanation of a butterfly and how you can use XSP as well as Darvis for identifying consolidation, utilizing it as a breakout or a breakdown zone that you can automate. You don't have to be in front of your computer. And then let's talk about this. Remember that my YouTube channel is it's a Trading Made Simple with Sandra. And then my handle is options_Sandy. All right. Any questions we got here? Any recommendations? I'm currently only trading on Robinhood. Ooh, JK. Well, on Robinhood, do they have XSP? You could probably do it on XSP. I'm not sure how user-friendly Robinhood is. I really went to Thinkorswim only because of the automation tools. Back in the day, about 7-8 years ago when I learned automation, they were like one of the very few platforms that really was outperforming everybody else in the automation space. And that's why I went to Thinkorswim. I also teach and coach on Thinkorswim. We do have indicators on Thinkorswim as well as TradingView. But I would start if you're, getting more experienced and you're feeling more comfortable learning about stocks and options, I would really move to a platform that you can really utilize their tools for your benefit. And I think if you get away from manual trading, that's going to help you immensely. So I teach about it in a program called Autopilot, and you could get to it by tradingmadesimple.org /autopilot. And you can learn all about it, or just go to my website, tradingmadesimple.org. But I like Thinkorswim because of this. And by the way, you can utilize Thinkorswim's charting pattern, all of their tools for free on a paper trading account, which I highly recommend if you're new to options, so that you can become a better automated trader as well as just identifying price action. You can see, by the way, we're trending now all of a sudden on the 15th, so we may be moving. Let's see here. Oh, thank you for that. Zunate, that was very sweet of you. I really appreciate it. Both TS and IBKR, yes, and that's what I was going to say, is back in the day, right? I went to Thinkorswim, and of course, it took me many years to be able to classify myself as an expert in it, to teach it and coach it. But so many other platforms now have automation, as well as tools out there, by the way, that you can utilize that, you could basically, the thing about Thinkorswim is that you have to set it each and every time for your automation. But now they're becoming rule-based tools out there where you could use automation, so where it actually scans the market. And if your rules that you've put down, whether it be above the 6 EMA, I want you to get me a 50 delta, call, and I want you to take a 5 wide spread and do this, this, and this, it will just scan the market. And every time those conditions are met, it'll just automatically place a trade for you. I mean, automation has been here for so long with institutional traders, as well as with, large hedge funds and stuff, and family hedge funds, that it's amazing that the retail trader, it's like we're the last to get on board. Now, granted, we only, make up maybe 3 to 5% of the market, But I would really recommend you start utilizing those tools on whatever platform you are, whether it's IBKR. I hear IBKR has some great tools for automation, as well as I'm not sure Tasty Trade's got a ton of tools. I think they do have OCOs, and that's all you need is an order where you can place an order and say, hey, look, if it breaches a resistance or it breaches this trigger area, I want to get out. And if it hits my profit target, I want to get out. And that just allows you not to have the human aspect into trading. So you're actually analyzing the chart, you're making a decision, and you're just moving on. And believe me, tons of tools out there for support and resistance. That's totally easy to figure out. Tons of tools for triggers. So I hope you get to check it out and start utilizing it more. And feel free to ask me any type of automation questions here, and we could go through it live together.
Awesome. Appreciate the insights. Yeah, I personally, I've got a few brokers, obviously TradeZero, they're hosting our trading competition. So if you guys are interested in that, you can test all of these things on that paper trading competition.
Oh yeah, I gotta sign up for that and check it out.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So there's some exciting news that TradeZero is going to release on September 1st. And so this competition is kind of to build around that. But yeah, that's something we're definitely creating a lot of content exposure for. So folks can check that out. But always appreciate you, Sandra. And we will see you next week.
We'll see you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye, chat.